the Interstellar Mecha cook. Greetings, fellow multiversal adventurers. It's an honor to have you back in this saga that has us all hooked. Official channel statement: this story is 100% epic fiction, so please don't attempt real magic. The results aren't guaranteed and insurance won't cover it. The rights to this masterpiece belong entirely to its brilliant original author. We are just a barge sharing it with you. Do you want to keep being part of this amazing community? Join our ninja army of subscribers on YouTube and give this content a like. And for true fans, our Patreon has exclusive ninjutsu waiting for you. Chapter 326: Showing Affection in the Street. At 2 o'clock in the afternoon, Lin Miaomiao and 3 others checked out of the hotel and rushed to the Pingan ferry terminal. They were planning to leave quietly by waving their sleeves and leaving without a single cloud. However, when they arrived at the ferry terminal, they ran into Hu Zhi, who came to see them off. "Xiao Yunyan, you're leaving without even saying goodbye. You're too heartless." Hu Zhi's face was full of resentment and accusation, as if he had suffered a great injustice. Lin Miaomiao was in a bad mood, so she said seriously, "Mr. Hu, we're not familiar with each other, and I don't want to trouble you to see me off when I go back." Hu Zhi was stunned. "Yesterday you were sweetly calling me Brother Zhi, and today you're Mr. Hu. Is it because the contract was signed that you turned your face against me, Mr. Hu? You misunderstood," Ren Jiao said coldly. "When Xiao Yunyan is angry, she doesn't know anyone." A dull look appeared on Hu Zhi's beautiful face. She actually said something like that. This little cook is too fickle. Because one of the cooks was in a bad mood and didn't know anyone well, the reluctant farewell that Hu Zhi had imagined was a bubble. The few people exchanged a few bland words and waved goodbye. Lin Miaomiao, Brother Zhi is really overthinking it. Even if she was in a good mood, it would be impossible for her to say goodbye reluctantly. They had only met a few times and their relationship was not that close. The few days of the return journey passed quickly. During these days, Lin Miaomiao, who had been inexplicably angry, suddenly calmed down and started joking and playing with her teammates again, as if nothing had happened. People were curious like a cat scratching, but they didn't dare to ask the reason. What if the cook got angry again and ignored them if they asked? What if the boss misunderstood that everyone was ganging up on the cook? So the matter passed quietly. Ren Jiao treated it as if it had never happened. Yu Hongbo and Sunbo thought that the cook was just having an intermittent fit and let it pass. After boarding the passenger ship that afternoon, they arrived back at Shaoin Star at 1:40 a.m. Even if they rushed back to the base, they couldn't get in, so the four decided to find a nearby hotel for the night. There were 24-hour hotels near the passenger ship terminal, just a few minutes walk away, no need to even get a car. "I miss my bed so much. I didn't expect the Pingan passenger ship to be so unreliable and even late," Yu Hongbo raged. They were supposed to arrive at Shaoin Star at 10 o'clock, so they still had time to get back to the base. Sunbo pouted, "Brother, can you be more reasonable? You're not a woman, how can you be so particular about your bed?" Ren Jiao jumped up and smacked him on the head, always linking everything to a woman. "If you want to get yourself killed, just say it. I was just saying it casually. Is there any need to hit so hard?" Sunbo complained. Ren Jiao snorted and ignored him. If it weren't for the fact that they were on the same mission, she would have beaten him to pulp. After leaving the passenger ship terminal, the group was about to head for the nearest, most conspicuous hotel when they saw a very imposing figure standing not far away, someone who seemed very familiar with them. "Boss," Yu Hongbo shouted excitedly, "you actually came to pick us up." Sunbo looked up at the sky. This guy was really feeling too good about himself. It was obviously impossible for the boss to come pick us up just for him, and he actually took it for granted. Sure enough, Yu Hongwen glanced at Yu Hongbo coldly, then walked past him, approaching the lagging Lin Miaomiao and whispered, "Are you tired?" Being ignored, Yu Hongbo instantly suffered 10,000 points of damage. The boss had also learned to value love over friendship. Which bastard had led him astray? Ren Jiao glanced at her future sister-in-law with envy. Their itinerary had already been reported to the fleet. The boss must have come to pick them up at the normal arrival time. He had been waiting since 10 o'clock and hadn't gotten crazy yet. Lin Miaomiao, greeted with greetings, snorted softly and continued walking, not bothering to acknowledge the arrival of the ferry pickup. Now he was showing off, but what had he been doing before? She'd been away for so long, and he hadn't even sent a text or video message. Yi Hongwen was completely surprised by his girlfriend's reaction, and he immediately ran after her, asking, "Miaomiao, where are you going?" Lin Miaomiao still ignored him. She was still angry, but she didn't say it, because she just didn't want to bother with someone. Angry, Yi Hongwen pondered, quickly reflecting on what he had done wrong. Was she upset that he'd come to pick her up, even though Yiffy had clearly said it would make her happy? Or was it because the ferry was delayed and he'd been waiting so long? Miaomiao felt distressed, and with no outlet, she took it out on him. If Lin Miaomiao knew what he was thinking, she'd definitely complained that he was overthinking things. As her boyfriend, picking her up was a must, and waiting a few extra hours was just a testament to his patience. Unfortunately, Yi Hongwen didn't understand the misunderstanding. Seeing his girlfriend ignoring him, he pulled out his ultimate move, pulling her into a hug and kissing her alluring red lips. Lin Miaomiao was stunned by the kiss. How could someone be so shameless? She was still angry, and yet he actually used the beauty trick. What should she do now? Should she push him away or enjoy it for now? After a long struggle, Lin Miaomiao decided to stick to the old saying that if you don't take advantage of an opportunity, you're a jerk. Just kiss afterward. The people following behind were annoyed. Were they angry? How could they kiss so quickly? They weren't even shy about kissing in the street. How could they, the singles, feel? Even Ren Jiao, who wasn't single, couldn't help but curse, show off your affection, and break up soon. There was nothing she could do. After the kiss, her boyfriend wasn't around, and she didn't want to see them being affectionate. The beauty trick had indeed worked. At least after the kiss, although Lin Miaomiao didn't say anything, she didn't leave, nor did she try to break free from Yi Hongwen's hand. Yi Hongwen mentally ticked a red box with satisfaction, then turned to ask the team members behind him with strange expressions, "What happened on the way? Shouldn't we arrive at 10 o'clock? If a passenger ship is delayed, a broadcast will be made at the passenger shipyard to prevent those who are meeting the ship from getting anxious." So Yi Hongwen knew that the passenger ship they were on was delayed, but he didn't know the reason. To be honest, Yu Hongbo said slowly, "I don't know why it's delayed. Anyway, we didn't encounter pirates or any cosmic hurricanes. We're just inexplicably delayed." "Yeah, I forgot. We can actually complain. The inexplicable delay has prevented us from even returning to the base." Ren Jiao was very upset. It would be fine if she couldn't return to the base, but someone was actually showing off their affection in front of her. Sun Bo was also quite resentful. "Anyway, we haven't gone far. It's okay for us to go back and complain now. Is this really okay for you guys?" Lin Miaomiao said dimly, "But I vote in favor too. It's not good to vent your anger on someone anymore, but what to do if you're still swollen with anger? Of course, you have to find someone to vent your anger on. Isn't the inexplicably delayed Ping and cruise ship just the right target?" So this group of bored people really turned back to the cruise ship terminal and found the manager on duty to ask for a complaint. The manager of the cruise ship terminal turned on the light computer on the table without saying a word. "You want to complain about the cruise ship that was delayed just now? Just state your name and citizen number." Lin Miaomiao was stunned. It was so straightforward. Did he even apologize or try to dissuade her? Then she understood. It turned out that there were already many complaints from passengers recorded on the light computer, and people were simply too lazy to waste their breath to persuade them. Chapter 327 Identity Exposed. Lin Miaomiao originally thought that the task of finding Hu Zihi's identity would be a long-term task, but she did not expect that something that no one dared to conclude and no one was willing to believe would be revealed a few days later. The whistleblower was Hu Zihi's personal chef, who was now under the strict protection of the military. It was said that he had been Hu Zihi's chef for 10 years. The chef's name was Huaniu, a simple and honest man. He signed a contract with Hu Zihi, which stipulated that he must not reveal his boss's preferences to others. He could only go to the villa to cook during a fixed time period every day and had to leave after cooking. Although Huaniu found it strange, he did not think too much about it. He just thought it was a quirk of the rich, so he consciously abided by it and never violated the contract because he could not afford the high penalty for breach of contract. Unfortunately, even though Hu Zihi was well protected, he could not withstand the idiots under his command. Because he was not full at lunch, he called the chef back and asked him to prepare a big meat feast. Hu Zihi's two subordinates were newly transformed alien beasts, their strength relatively modest. They were able to transform thanks to a stroke of luck. Having discovered the formula for a transformation pill, any intelligent alien beast that consumed the pill would instantly transform. The ingredients for the transformation pill were scarce, yielding only a few each year, and the failure rate was also high. Successfully refining even one pill a year was considered a feat, and obtaining 2 this year was a major achievement for them. However, despite the pill's benefits, few alien beasts were willing to consume it due to a drawback. Any beast that consumed it would remain at the transformation stage, unable to advance further despite their efforts. Hu Zihi's transformation wasn't triggered by the pill, it occurred naturally after reaching the 8th level of cultivation. He was incredibly powerful. He had infiltrated the Federation to test the strength of humanity and see if the Fox tribe had a chance to dominate it. Instead, he discovered the region's advanced technology. While high-level mecha pilots were few and far between, a combined force could easily defeat him. After living and hiding in the Federation for a while, Hu Zihi's original ambitions vanished. Instead, he became envious of the convenience and ease of high technology, a life he desired for his people. Unable to defeat the Federation by sieging it, he decided to disguise himself as a human, establish his own stronghold and human settlements, and earn credits to purchase daily necessities and high-tech gadgets for his people. As an 8th-rank expert, Hu Zihi's abilities were unquestionable. He spent 10 years successfully establishing the Hu's Fresh supermarket and large-scale farms and ranches on the planet they occupied. The profits from self-produced goods were staggering, and the living standards of the alien beasts gradually improved. To ensure reliable personnel, Hu Zihi selected several of his tribesmen, with limited qualifications but brilliant minds, who took the transformation pill and brought them to Human Star to assist him. Initially, relations among the alien beasts were quite harmonious. Even if some expressed envy towards the foxes who had obtained the transformation pills, they would only rant in person. However, as their living conditions improved, many of those struggling with cultivation began to yearn for life outside. Some alien beasts then led a protest against the king's injustice. Since they shared the throne, how could he favor the foxes, granting precious transformation pills only to his own kind? Despite Hu Zihi's formidable strength, the foxes were too few in number. The chaos caused by the rioters was so severe that his sister, the little white fox, who had not yet transformed, was abducted by humans. To protect his identity and save the little white fox, he had no choice but to give up his 2 transformation pills for the year and agree to bring the successfully transformed alien beasts into human society. By some coincidence, when Lin Miaomiao and the other 4 were assigned to Human Planet to contact Hu Zihi, the 2 newly transformed beasts had also arrived and were being held captive at the Hu family villa to learn how to behave. However, Hu Zihi, intrigued by Lin Miaomiao, became more relaxed about the family, giving the 2 beasts an opportunity to run amok. Summoning the chef for a large meat feast wasn't a big deal. The most shocking thing was that these 2 transformed beasts, despite their low level and intelligence, had, in just a few days, mastered the art of drinking, whoring, and gambling, becoming incredibly arrogant. Before Huanyu had even finished serving the dishes, the 2 brothers were already playing finger-guessing games and drinking. As Huanyu finished serving the dishes and was about to say goodbye, he was shocked to see the 2 drunken figures, talking nonsense, transform into a wolf and a leopard, their clothes still on. The 2 mutants, still somewhat conscious, knew they couldn't return to their original forms, so they transformed back into humans. However, their alcohol-depleted nerves kept causing them to revert to their original forms, and they kept repeating this cycle. Huanyu, honest and conscientious, was also somewhat stubborn. Despite his fear, he recovered and filmed what he had seen with trembling hands. A transformation was a serious matter. What if it had infiltrated the Federation with malicious intent? After filming the video, Huanyu secretly left the villa, not daring to return. Instead, he sought refuge at the Lifang fleet, the garrison of Human Star. The video not only captured 2 transforming alien beasts but also their drunken conversation, where they described Hu Zihi as an 8th-level transforming alien beast. This explosive news spread throughout the Federation that day, and Shen Yu naturally learned of it. Having learned the answer without completing any mission, Yi Hongwen calmly submitted their findings. While the submission was a little late, it was still the result of their hard work, wasn't it? Of course, Yi Hongwen's actions were protested by the Lifang fleet, who believed he was deliberately waiting for the incident to happen in order to take credit. Not to be outdone, the Shen Yu fleet launched a counterattack. Lin Miaomiao didn't participate in the battle for credit between the fleets. Because she'd been around Hu Zhi before, she was forbidden from intervening in arguments. This wasn't just her, Ren Jiao and the other three also suffered the same fate. But she wasn't disappointed. Rather than a verbal spat, she was more puzzled. Since the Lifang fleet is on Yimin Star, why did this mission fall on us? Such a clear move away from the immediate for the far-flung? Had the military gone mad? Or were they just looking for trouble? Ye Hongwen said helplessly, the military isn't as unreliable as you think. The Lifang fleet's captains have always been cautious and self-disciplined. They declined a mission, citing their presence on Yimin Star and Hu Zhi's familiarity with them. With the Lifang fleet's example, the other fleets followed suit, finding various excuses to decline the dangerous mission. After all, investigating the alien beast's transformation would inevitably require contact with Hu Zhi, and they feared the danger. As for why the Shenyu fleet had become the scapegoat, Yi Hongwen could only say that being too prominent wasn't a good thing. The recent missions Shenyu had participated in had been quite impressive, and it seemed like it was on the rise, but it was rising too quickly, becoming a thorn in the side of certain fleets. Among them, the Luojia fleet, second to last in the rankings, was the most aggressive. They originally had a lower-ranked fleet below them, but now that lower-ranked fleet was about to overtake them, what were they going to do? They were going to sabotage them in every way they could. Chapter 328 Asking for Leave. The bosses bickering and vying for credit had nothing to do with a small-time soldier like Lin Miaomiao. Her only concern now was her eldest brother bringing his future sister-in-law back to Milulan to meet his parents, and she was ready to pack her bags and request some time off to join in the fun. As for whether she'd get the leave, Lin Miaomiao was confident she'd get it. She'd already agreed to the terms when she took over the kitchen again, so she leisurely went to ask her boyfriend for leave. But when she confidently arrived at the captain's room to request leave, she was met with a cold shoulder. Yi Hongwen righteously retorted, "It's a busy time right now. I wouldn't approve it unless it was urgent." Lin Miaomiao's eyes widened. "But you clearly promised me last time." "Really?" Yi Hongwen raised an eyebrow. "When did you promise that?" This was like a tacit attempt to evade her promise. Lin Miaomiao was instantly enraged. They'd agreed back then, as long as she was in charge of the kitchen, she could ignore the one-year leave limit rule. Now she was playing dumb. It didn't matter. She didn't mind using words to help him recall it. However, it was useless. It wasn't that someone denied saying such a thing, but rather that they thought, "I just said you were eligible for leave, not that I approved it, so you mean you didn't approve it?" Lin Miaomiao asked sinisterly. If the answer was yes, she wouldn't mind rushing up and biting him a few times, biting him on the face, making him embarrassed to face everyone. Lin Miaomiao thought to herself. "I didn't say I didn't approve it," Yi Hongwen said calmly. "I just asked you to find a legitimate reason to ask for leave, like your brother and sister-in-law, to go back to meet the parents and get engaged." Lin Miaomiao grumbled, "I'm going back to attend my brother's engagement party." "Is that a good reason?" Yi Hongwen shook his head firmly. "This reason must be wrong. It's just an engagement party. You're not the main character. There's no need to attend." "You don't mean that if I'm the main character of the engagement party, I can take leave?" Lin Miaomiao said suspiciously. Could this guy's refusal to approve the leave application be a hint? "I haven't asked for leave in the past 2 years, Yi Hongwen looked at her expectantly. If it was legitimate, he could get his fiancée even if she was younger. Lin Miaomiao's ears began to turn red. Could it be that this guy also wanted to meet his parents? But they had just started not long ago. How could it be so soon? Besides, she was not even 20 yet, so there was no rush for engagement. Maybe the situation determined everything. If Yi Hongwen had responded to her pursuit instead of constantly rejecting or ignoring her, then she would definitely be the one who wanted to get engaged today. Unfortunately, there was no if. They were indeed boyfriend and girlfriend now, but it was Yi Hongwen who was eager to get engaged. "I'm still young, so forget about being the protagonist of the engagement party." Lin Miaomiao was a little embarrassed. "This time it's a big event for my brother, I can't steal the limelight." There was a flash of disappointment in Yi Hongwen's eyes, but he didn't force it, and just said lightly, "If you really want to ask for leave, you can, but I can only approve you for 5 days, because you are just going to attend the engagement ceremony." "Only 5 days?" Lin Miaomiao looked at him with disgust. "As a captain, can't you be more generous? You should at least give 10 days. My brother and the others have asked for half a month. Lin Miaomiao also wrote on the leave application that she would ask for half a month, but judging from the current situation, it was obviously impossible to ask for such a long time, so she could only make a discount, but she would not agree to it if it was only 5 days. 10 days won't do, it's too long. Yi Hongwen flatly rejected it, and then started to act pitiful. You were away for more than 10 days on the last mission, and you'll be gone for so long this time. Don't you miss me at all? Lin Miaomiao was speechless. She felt that although he was handsome, pretending to be pitiful really didn't suit Bingshan, so she said woodenly, 5 days is too short, then I'll give you 2 more days. Yi Hongwen made a decisive decision, and efficiently crossed out the 15 days on the leave application, changing it to 7 days, and then signed and stamped it. When she came to her senses, the leave application had been put away by Yi Hongwen. Lin Miaomiao was embarrassed. It was popular to bargain for a leave. This life was really unbearable. The matter was a foregone conclusion. Lin Miaomiao also knew that she could not change Yi Hongwen's mind. She could only grab his right hand and bite it in anger. You are so mean, you actually changed my date. I'll bite you to death. Yi Hongwen's expression shifted slightly, and he pulled her into his arms. His voice, deep and sexy, whispered, Miaomiao, you bit the wrong spot. Let me teach you. With that, he pressed his thin lips against the girl's unforgiving mouth, his hands roaming all over her body. Since she hadn't agreed to meet his parents, he should at least make it up to her. Poor Lin Miaomiao, captivated by his pleasant voice, then swooned over his kisses, losing all consciousness. By the time she realized the situation was dire, she'd already been practically stripped naked. Pervert, Lin Miaomiao's expressionless face flushed slightly. She pushed away the still unsatisfied person and quickly straightened her clothes. How did you come to your senses so quickly? Yi Hongwen lamented. Miaomiao was too shy. Normally, she'd only let him hold her hand and steal a kiss. The little sweetness she finally got, however, was so fleeting. The shy Lin Miaomiao tidied her clothes and said seriously, since I've asked for leave, I'll go back and pack my things. You don't have to wait for me to eat with you tonight. I decided to drink a nutritional supplement. Yi Hongwen was stunned. You'll only be back for 7 days, there won't be much to pack, and besides, I remember your leave doesn't start until the day after tomorrow. Lin Miaomiao raised her chin and answered expressionlessly, I'm going to be back for 7 days, and I have to go to Star Network to buy some gifts for my family. After all, we haven't seen each other for so long. I also have to buy some beautiful clothes. It's not good to wear a military uniform every day at home, okay? Yi Hongwen couldn't object to such a reason, so he could only dryly advise, don't buy clothes that are too beautiful. As a soldier, you should be frugal. In fact, the clothes you loved to wear when you were a freshman are nice styles. If she was too beautiful and attracted more suitors, he would have a headache. Even if he was very confident in himself, too many flies would be annoying, right? I don't know if Gu Qingheng, who is still accompanying his sick childhood sweetheart, has given up now. Those clothes with simple styles and dark colors are pretty good. Lin Miaomiao frowned and couldn't help complaining in her heart that men nowadays are really good at telling lies with their eyes open. Yi Hongwen nodded seriously. The style is simple and generous. It should be very comfortable to wear and suitable for you. Otherwise, I will accompany you to buy it in the evening. Buying clothes for his girlfriend is also what he should do. It is normal to choose styles that he thinks are good when buying them. Lin Miaomiao covered her face and didn't want to say anything else. She just said perfunctorily, no, I will choose some more generous clothes. Okay, you should get down to business. Aren't you still negotiating with the captain of the Feng? I won't disturb you. After that, Lin Miaomiao left as if escaping. Chapter 329. Shocked to hear about the Lin family's illegitimate daughter. Naturally, her clothes weren't chosen according to Yi Hongwen's taste. Lin Miaomiao opted for a well-tailored casual suit in soft beige and light blue. It looked elegant and the fabric felt very comfortable. As for what to wear to Lin Xianhao's engagement party, she decided to visit custom-made shops after returning to Milulan. Uncle Lin had ordered her a custom dress the previous time, and even if she was pressed for time, they were happy to expedite it for a little extra money. After shopping and logging off Star Network, Lin Miaomiao didn't actually drink a nutritional supplement to fill her stomach. Instead, she went into the kitchen and cooked herself a bowl of dumplings. Just as she was about to start, her video call rang. It was from an unfamiliar number. Lin Miaomiao glanced at the dumplings on the table, debating whether to hang up or not. Finally, she sighed and answered. It was her fault for being so cold-faced and soft-hearted. After the call was connected, she regretted her decision. She should have known better than to give in. The person who had sent the video message from the unknown number was Hu Zhi. Hey, Xiao Yunyan, it's already this late and you haven't had dinner yet. Hu Zhi's narrow eyes were filled with a hint of smile, and her beautiful face did not show any panic or depression after her identity was exposed. Lin Miaomiao frowned. How do you know my video number? When she was on a mission, she used a temporary number for video, but now Hu Zhi called her original number, which only meant that her identity was also exposed. Sure enough, Hu Zhi chuckled and said, actually, I should call you Lin Miaomiao, the new recruit of the Shenyu fleet this year. Lin Miaomiao, the young owner of the Lin family hotel. Right, Lin Miaomiao's heart sank. Did this fox run away after his identity was exposed? How could he still find time to investigate her identity? Most importantly, why did he doubt her identity? She was not someone who was afraid of trouble. Since her identity had been exposed, there was no need to deny it. Lin Miaomiao asked calmly, I'm very curious, where did I get caught that you would actually investigate me? Hu Zhi's expression became a little strange. Actually, this is really an accident. I just thought you look a lot like someone I know, and she is an illegitimate daughter of an unknown father. Like you, she also has the surname Lin. I heard that her father is in Miluolan. Lin Miaomiao's mouth opened into an O shape. She wouldn't encounter any bloody things, would she? Could it be that she has a half-sister or younger sister? How much does she look like me, and how old is she? Lin Miaomiao asked cautiously. Hu Zhi looked at her as if she was facing a great enemy and found it a little funny. Don't worry, she won't be your sister, because she is more than old enough to be your mother. Lin Miaomiao was relieved, and then she had the heart to listen to the story. It's not a complicated story. When Hu Zhi first arrived on human planet, he was a naive, shape-shifting alien beast, his behavior and speech strange, and few people were willing to approach him. Just as he was facing obstacles, Lin Yin appeared, extended a hand, and introduced him to human planet and human life. Hu Zhi and Lin Yin had known each other for many years, and they had a mutual affection for each other. Unfortunately, humans and alien beasts couldn't be together, as he couldn't grow old with her. Gradually, he began to distance himself from Lin Yin, and she understood his intentions and quickly found someone she loved and married. Later, he could only silently watch her from the shadows, watching her get pregnant and have a child soon after their marriage. The last time he heard from Lin Yin, she was divorcing her husband. Feeling down, she took her son on a trip, but encountered pirates and died in the interstellar space. If you had accepted her, she would still be alive and well, Lin Miaomiao said thoughtfully. Even if you were to encounter pirates, he wouldn't be the one to die. However, beasts and humans certainly weren't meant to be together, especially when one party was unaware. So, she was just saying it casually, not as a condemnation. By the way, you said she looked like me. What's her mother's name? Is she still alive? Lin Miaomiao asked. Her mother's name is Liang Hongyu. She's still alive and well, though she's a little upset over the loss of her daughter, Hu Zhi replied. Oh, Lin Miaomiao didn't ask any more questions. She only asked for the name because she wanted to go home and see if anyone knew such a person. As for whether or not to find her father, that was a decision for the elders. Hu Zhi smiled. Why don't you ask where she lives? No need, Lin Miaomiao replied without hesitation. While she hadn't concealed the information from her family, she didn't intend to interfere too much. However, she was curious. Since she's gone, why are you telling me all this? Without the person, even if Lin Yin's biological father was found, it would probably be meaningless. Hu Zhi smiled bitterly and said, that's true, but she has always wanted to know who her father is. I haven't met any members of the Lin family before, so I didn't plan to look for her, but now I have met you who looks 50% similar to her. Okay, Lin Miaomiao understood. She hadn't thought of this at first, but after seeing her who looked similar to others, Hu Zhi remembered those old memories and looked up her information. Lin Miaomiao wanted to cry but had no tears. If she had known that someone would expose Hu Zhi's true identity, they wouldn't have to go to Human Star, and she wouldn't have to be exposed to these secrets. What if she was really the illegitimate daughter of an elder? How embarrassing it would be. However, no matter how depressed she was, she would tell her father when she found out. As for what decision her father made, it had nothing to do with her. Are you okay? If not, I'll hang up the video call. My dumplings are all swollen. Lin Miaomiao rolled her eyes at Hu Zhi in annoyance. Originally, she was worried that this 8th-level transformed alien beast was looking for her to demonstrate and issue a revenge notice, but after learning that the person he once liked looked very similar, she became bolder. It's okay, Hu Zhi said helplessly, you can eat slowly. By the way, I have to go back to the alien beast-inhabited planet. I will be not far from you in the future. You can come and play when you are free. No thanks, Lin Miaomiao refused without thinking, I'm timid. There are so many alien beasts gathered there. What if they bite me? Hu Zhi shook his head and laughed. If you don't want to come, then don't come. I won't force you, although I don't think you are timid. Hang up, see you again. After saying goodbye, Hu Zhi hung up the video call casually. He did not ask Lin Miaomiao to find the answer and tell him. Because it was not him who wanted to know the answer, and he just wanted to tell the Lin family about Lin Yin's existence, that's all. The video call ended, and Lin Miaomiao, whose stomach was rumbling with hunger, finally got to eat her dumplings. However, the sight of the dumplings, now so puffed up, completely destroyed her appetite. She simply dumped them in the trash, dug out a bunch of snacks from her social media app, and started eating. Halfway through, feeling full, she reached out her paw to open the communicator, munching on a snack while video messaging her father. Chapter 330 Returning Home. After reporting Lin Yin's situation to her father, Lin Miaomiao stopped caring about it. She was so excited about getting home that she wasn't very active in training the next day. Liu Kaoyer and the others noticed her absent-mindedness and teased her, but she ignored them. The ferry tickets had already been purchased, and Lin Miaomiao, eager to return home, had originally planned to buy a ticket for the evening. However, since it was Ren Jiaojiao's first visit, returning late at night seemed inappropriate, so Lin Xianhao booked a ticket for the next morning. At 5 in the morning on the day of their departure, Lin Miaomiao and the other two quietly left in their car, not disturbing their sleeping teammates. It was only 6:20 when they arrived at the passenger ship station. Since their passenger ship was leaving at 7 o'clock, Lin Xianhao suggested, why don't we go get something to eat nearby first? Ren Jiaojiao smiled charmingly and was about to agree when Lin Miaomiao said with a stern face, it's better not to go. What if you don't pay attention to the boarding time and miss it? If you miss it, just take the next one. Lin Xianhao was very open-minded. There were so many passenger ships going to Miluolangsing that he was not afraid of not being able to get home today. Ren Jiaojiao was still very considerate of her fiancé in small matters, so she nodded in agreement. As long as we don't arrive too late, it's okay. Lin Miaomiao frowned and looked at the fiancé and his wife in front of her very seriously, her face full of helplessness as if she had met a fool. Missing the passenger ship is a minor matter, but if my sister-in-law can't make it on her first trip to Miluolan, it's not a good sign, Lin Miaomiao said, emphatically. Today is a very special day in your lives. Don't you want to make it a perfect day? Yes, Lin Xianhao and the other man nodded in unison. They were successfully fooled, and they began to feel that they had to pay attention to everything today. How about we skip breakfast and just make do with the nutritional supplements? Ren Jiaojiao decided. Lin Xianhao nodded and took 3 bottles of high-quality nutritional supplements from his space button, handing them to his fiancée and his sister. However, his sister refused them. The nutritional supplements don't taste good, Lin Miaomiao said with disdain. If you want to drink it yourself. I won't drink it. Ren Jiaojiao took it, but she didn't rush to drink it. She wasn't hungry yet, and the sight of the unpalatable nutritional supplements completely lost her appetite. In the end, only Lin Xianhao drank it. At 6:45, the ferry began requiring passengers to board early, and Lin Miaomiao and the other two joined the crowd. They were on a short-haul ferry, a small vessel with no galleys or private cabins. They were divided into 2 cabins, economy and VIP. The economy cabins had soft seats, while the VIP cabins had soft couches. At 7 o'clock, the ferry's boarding lights went off, the hatch closed, and the ferry started. After settling in, Ren Jiaojiao felt hungry and reached for her nutrient solution, but was stopped by Lin Miaomiao. Don't drink the nutrient solution, I brought breakfast, Lin Miaomiao explained. reaching for a large insulated lunchbox from her space bar. Lin Miaomiao couldn't believe his eyes. How did you have breakfast? You didn't even stop me when I was drinking the nutrient solution just now. We didn't have enough time this morning, so the breakfast we made wasn't much? It's a little too little for 3 people, Lin Miaomiao said earnestly, eyes wide and unashamed. Miaomiao, you've learned bad habits, Lin Miaomiao angrily accused. It's such a sad thing that my innocent and cute sister has become so thoughtful. As for who led her astray, needless to say, it was the hateful iceberg Yihongwen. Great, Ren Jiaojiao didn't care about his fragile heart that had been hit hard. She was cheering for not having to drink nutritional supplements. She took the lunchbox and opened it with great anticipation. Inside, she saw a dozen fist-sized rice balls neatly stacked. Ren Jiaojiao took one and handed it to Lin Miaomiao, who was looking at her eagerly, and said very gently, "This rice ball is yours, my wife is still good to me." Lin Miaomiao looked at his fiancée with tears in his eyes, and his heart was touched. But his touch was destined to be short-lived, because Ren Jiaojiao said again, "The remaining 10 will be split in half between Miaomiao and me." Lin Miaomiao immediately burst into tears. He gave him one because it would be difficult to share the rice balls after the bill came out. After a pleasant breakfast, the 3 of them closed their eyes for a nap. Their tickets happened to include 3 rows of soft couches connected together, so Lin Miaomiao, as the man, naturally slept on the outermost. He also had to be vigilant while catching up on his sleep, lest someone stole his space button and snatched it away. At 12:30 p.m., the passenger ship arrived at Mirrorland. Lin Miaomiao and Ren Jiaojiao, energetic, hopped off the ship, while Lin Miaomiao followed behind, somewhat listlessly. An hour later, they finally appeared at the entrance of the Lin family mansion. Ren Jiaojiao, now a little shy and flustered, stood at the doorway, hesitant to enter. "It's okay, no one should be home by now, and you've seen their photos, so you don't have to worry about mistaking them," Lin Miaomiao soothed softly. Ren Jiaojiao pouted, "Even if they're not here now, they'll be back tonight." Seeing photos is different from seeing them in person, Lin Miaomiao frowned. He couldn't possibly tell them not to come back, right? Their whole purpose was to meet the family, right? Lin Miaomiao paid no attention to the betrothed couple's turmoil. She happily ran to the front door and rang the bell. If it were just the siblings returning, they would have simply opened the door and let themselves in. But with a distinguished guest present today, she could only obediently ring the doorbell and wait for Yi to come out and greet them. Yi was the Lin family's smart butler. Even when no one else was home, it represented the Lin family's welcome to their distinguished guest, so this step couldn't be omitted. A few minutes later, the front door opened, and Lin Miaomiao, with a stony expression but a cheerful voice, called out, "Yi, I'm back. It's been so long, I've missed you so much." Ren Jiaojiao was startled. The Lin family's smart butler looked so familiar. How could he bear such a resemblance to her future father-in-law? Could he have been modeled after him? Lin Yin, who opened the door, frowned. This unfortunate child, yelling so loudly without even seeing him clearly, and most importantly, his precious daughter was thinking about the smart butler instead of him, her father. Did she still want to come in? Damn. Ahem. Lin Miaomiao cleared his throat to remind his sister to be careful, then said to his father in a very flattering tone, "Dad, I'm back with Jiaojiao." He turned to Ren Jiaojiao and introduced, "Jiaojiao, this is my dad." What? It wasn't the smart butler, but her future father-in-law himself. Ren Jiaojiao blurted out nervously, "Hello, Dad." As soon as the words came out of her mouth, she felt bad all over. Calling him Dad on the first meeting, would people think she was not reserved? Would it be better to change it now and say that she called him wrong? After struggling for a long time, Ren Jiaojiao decided not to change it. After all, they were going to get engaged after meeting their parents this time, so it was understandable to call him that now. Lin Yin was even calmer, as if it was no big deal that there was one more person calling him Dad. He nodded seriously and said, "Jiaojiao, right? What's the number of your communicator? I'll give you a big red envelope later." Ren Jiaojiao blushed and shook her head to refuse. "I'm not short of money, so I don't need it." "Why not?" Lin Miaomiao was anxiously jumping up and down beside him. "You must not save on the gift for the first visit. It means my dad is very satisfied with you." In view of the fact that his fiancée was shy and thin-skinned, Lin Xianhao automatically gave her contact number to his father. Lin Yuhe glanced at his son, but didn't say anything. He immediately packed a big red envelope and sent it over. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 331. Dad is hard to coax. At this time, Lin Miaomiao, who had just called the wrong person, had reflected on her mistakes and came over, grinning. Dad, I love you the most. I haven't seen you for more than half a year. I can't eat or sleep well, and I've lost weight. If you don't believe me, just look. Lin Miaomiao rolled up her sleeves to reveal her snow-white, delicate arms, to prove that what she said was true, but Lin Yuhe didn't believe it at all. I opened the door, and you called Yi without even looking at it clearly. You must be thinking about it more than me, Lin Yuhe said with a straight face, and you've lost weight because you've grown taller. You'll look thinner if you've lost weight. It's hard to be honest, but Dad doesn't have to be so serious. Lin Miaomiao was a little tearful. Opening the door was obviously Yi's job, and Dad wouldn't want to steal her job. But she couldn't say that. Lin Miaomiao decisively decided to admit her mistake. I'm sorry, I was just sitting in the car for too long and was a little confused. I couldn't see people clearly because of my dizziness. Lin Yuhe snorted and turned to walk inside. It was obvious that he had not forgiven his little daughter who was pretending to be pitiful. Lin Miaomiao followed closely behind and apologized. When she entered the living room, Yi came up to her and said, Miss Miaomiao, I miss you so much after not seeing you for a long time. I miss you too, Yi. Lin Miaomiao walked forward and gave it a big hug. After crossing over, Yi accompanied her when she recuperated in the old Lin family mansion, and it was also it that took her when she went out, so Yi was different to her. Sometimes she didn't even think of it as an intelligent robot. Huh? Lin Yuhe's face darkened, and he walked straight towards the sofa. Yi was a little confused. What's wrong with Mr. Hai? Lin Xianhao suppressed a smile and said, It's nothing, he's just about to reach menopause. Yi, don't you even say hello to me. Hello, young Master Xianhao? Yi greeted obediently, turning to Ren Jiaojiao and shouting, Hello, future young lady. Ren Jiaojiao smiled and said, Hello, Yi. After the scene at the door just now, she has calmed down now, no longer nervous or shy, and calmly followed Lin Xianhao to the sofa, while Lin Miaomiao had already snuggled up to Lin Yuhe and acted coquettishly. Go away, you're so old, and you're still acting like a coquettish child. Aren't you afraid that your sister-in-law will laugh at you? Lin Yuhe felt pleased in his heart, but he stopped him sternly. Lin Miaomiao said disapprovingly, I have a good relationship with my sister-in-law, she won't laugh at me. That won't do either. Didn't you say you missed Yi more, and you even gave it a hug? Go hug it. Lin Yuhe said that he was still angry and didn't want to see his little daughter in front of him. Lin Miaomiao had a headache. Why was her dad so difficult to coax? She had never coaxed anyone like this before. What should she do next? After watching the joke for a long time, Lin Xianhao finally remembered the term brotherly love, half-hugged his fiancée and said to the rescue, Dad, Jiaojiao is here for the first time, don't you chat with her. Ren Jiaojiao couldn't help but reached out and pinched him secretly when she was taken off the water while feeling comfortable. It's okay to help her out of distress, but don't involve her. Yes, sister-in-law just came, we should pay more attention to her. Lin Miaomiao said, but she was worried about her eldest brother's IQ. It seemed that her quarrel with her father was difficult, but in fact, it was also giving her sister-in-law more time to prepare herself mentally, so that she could see their relaxed atmosphere and not be too restrained. Who knew that her elder brother would be so stupid? But then again, she was also very happy that her elder brother was like this. At least it showed that she didn't fall out of favor because of her sister-in-law. Lin Yuhe was shocked to find that he was so busy quarreling with his daughter that he forgot about the important things. He glared at his daughter, who was obviously doing it on purpose, and pushed her away. Don't act like a spoiled child here. You haven't had lunch yet. Go and help Yi cook. Don't starve your sister-in-law. I just came back too. Lin Miaomiao widened her eyes, unable to believe that her treatment had become so bad. Stop talking nonsense and go, Lin Yuhe urged without mercy, but turned to look at Ren Jiaojiao with a softened expression. Jiao, no one is here for lunch, so just make do with just the two of you, and let Miaomiao prepare the welcome banquet for you in the evening. Lin Miaomiao pouted and got up reluctantly to go to the kitchen. She had just come back, so why did she have to prepare the welcome banquet? Her father was so unfair. The moment before she walked into the restaurant, she heard her sister-in-law's excuse behind her. Miaomiao just got off the ship and must be very tired. Let's not let her do it. That girl slept so soundly on the ship, how could she be tired? Jiao, don't worry about it, said Lin Xianhao. Lin Miaomiao wanted to overturn the table. It was not that her elder brother still doted on her. It was obvious that he doted on his elder sister-in-law more. He came to the rescue just now because he didn't want his elder sister-in-law to be neglected. She trudged into the kitchen, and Yi was surprised to see her. Why are you here, Miss Miaomiao? Why don't you sit outside with Mr. Hai for a while, Yi? Lin Miaomiao said aggrievedly. I found Daddy really hard to coax. Just now, when he opened the door, I thought it was you, so I yelled, Yi, I miss you so much, and he's still angry no matter how much I try to coax him. He even asked me to come help you in the kitchen. That's the truth. Yi looked surprised, but secretly delighted that her young master said she missed her. She comforted her, saying, Mr. Hai can be a bit stubborn. He can be unreasonable when he's angry. He'll be fine once he calms down, don't worry, Miss Miaomiao. So, Yi, are you trying to discredit one of your masters? Lin Miaomiao broke into cold sweat, but felt a little relieved. It turned out that her dad's temper was so awkward that even a robot couldn't stand it. In a good mood, Lin Miaomiao rolled up her sleeves and prepared to help. Since they were already in the kitchen, cooking with Yi was quite nice. But Yi felt sorry for her because she had just returned home. You've been on the flying ship for several hours. You should sit down and rest for a while. There are only a few dishes for lunch. I can handle it, it's okay, I'm not tired. Lin Miaomiao raised the corner of her mouth at it. I haven't cooked with Yi for a long time. I really miss this feeling. Having said that, Yi didn't stop her. Instead, she said with nostalgia, yes, when Master Miaomiao is here. I only need to help. So, let me help today. Lin Miaomiao had no objection. Seeing that Yi was already cutting vegetables, she went to look at the steamer that was steaming things. She found that there were steamed pork with rice flour and braised pork with preserved vegetables. They were almost steamed. As soon as the lid was opened, the fragrance overflowed, and she couldn't help but reach out to pick up a piece to taste it. Hiss! It's so hot. Lin Miaomiao blew repeatedly from the heat, but she couldn't bear to throw the meat away. Yi's cooking skills are getting better and better. Somehow, other intelligent robots' cooking skills would remain at the same level and wouldn't improve unless their intelligent hub was updated with better recipes, but Yi could now improve its cooking skills independently, albeit slowly. Yi dropped her work and retrieved a bowl and chopsticks from the sterilizer, handing them to her. Miss Miaomiao, you should use bowls and chopsticks. Perhaps it was because Yi's intelligence was getting higher and higher, Lin Miaomiao thought, reaching out to take the bowl and chopsticks that Yi handed over. Chapter 332 The Lonely Little Cook. Lunch was a passable affair, and Lin Miaomiao's attentive service, serving rice and picking up dishes, finally coaxed Dad back. The father and daughter exchanged warm greetings, and the situation was as follows. Miaomiao, are you used to being in the fleet? Are the people bullying you there? Why don't you just go home and take over Dad's business? Your brother is too stupid and has no business talent, said Dad, looking very disappointed. Lin Xianhao, tears streaming down my face, I'm the one who gets shot even when I'm lying down. Then I heard Lin Miaomiao's reply, no, it's good in the fleet. There are a lot of friends, and they're easy to bully. It's okay for my brother to be too stupid to know about business. Let my sister-in-law give birth to a baby as soon as possible and let you raise it from a young age, Renjiao, bah. He hasn't even officially entered your Lin family, and he's already planning on me. This is too much bullying. Anyway, the meal was quite harmonious. Renjiao felt much more relaxed. After Lin's father left, she sighed. It turns out that meeting the parents is not so difficult. With this experience, I won't be afraid in the future, Lin Xianhao said resentfully. Who are you going to meet the parents with in the future? Renjiao stuck out her tongue. She seemed to have said the wrong thing again. Meeting the parents once was enough. After all, Although her fiancé was a little stupid, he was still obedient. She had no plans to change him. "I'm sorry, I spoke too quickly and said the wrong thing." Ren Jiao fell into her fiancé's arms and apologized in a sweet voice. "I won't do it again." "Don't be angry, saying sorry is useless," Lin Xianhao said righteously, his shining eyes fixed on his fiancé's red lips. "Jiao, shouldn't you compensate me?" Pink bubbles began to appear. Seeing that the situation was not good, Lin Miaomiao prepared to retreat. "Brother and sister-in-law, you guys have fun. I'll go back to my room and rest for a while." The affectionate fiancé had already hugged each other and kissed, so they had no time to pay attention to her. Lin Miaomiao could only pout and retreat upstairs while sighing that the world was going downhill. What Lin Miaomiao didn't know was that not long after she left, the couple who had been hugging each other separated. Ren Jiao put her hands on her hips and laughed triumphantly. "I let her and the boss show their affection in public. Today I finally got my revenge." "Jiao, you are not a good boy. You actually used me as a tool for revenge." Lin Xianhao picked her up with a dark face. "Since your goal of revenge has been achieved, it's time to comfort me." Ren Jiao screamed and clenched her fist to hit his shoulder. "Put me down quickly. What do you want to do in broad daylight?" But Lin Xianhao turned a deaf ear to her. After being hit a few times, it didn't hurt much anyway, so he carried her back to his room. After the couple left, Yi came out of the restaurant, smiling, and said, "The Lin family will soon have a little master again." "That's great." Yi helped with the dinner again, and Lin Miaomiao was the chef. Since it was a welcoming banquet in the evening and there were many people eating, they prepared 16 dishes plus a soup. Almost everyone had a favorite dish. Around 5 in the afternoon, the Lin family began to arrive. First came the twin students, followed by Lin Yuhei and the head of the family, Lin Qian, Lin Yuquan, and his wife. Last came Ran Jizhan, who arrived at 7:50. As for Lin Yuhu, he was busy with work and couldn't leave for the time being, so he had to return for Lin Xianhao's engagement party. Had it not been for the Lin family's first grandson's engagement party, he probably wouldn't have returned. With everyone present, dinner officially began. To make Ren Jiao feel more comfortable, Lin Xianhao and his sister sat on either side of her. They introduced her to the elders. After she had met them all, greeted them, and received their gifts, dinner officially began. The Lin family elders were all pleased with Ren Jiao, and they enthusiastically urged her to eat. "Jiao, eat more. You're so thin. It'll be hard for you to have children later," Ran Jizhan said, using serving chopsticks to help her pick up a piece of rich, braised pork. "Jiao, don't be polite. Just treat this place as your own home." Lin Yuquan also greeted warmly. "Look at your aunt. She treated this place as her own home before she even started dating me." An Yutong's smiling face twisted instantly, and she raised her foot and stepped hard on someone several times. Even if she wanted to comfort her niece-in-law, she couldn't make fun of her. "Oh wife, I was wrong," Lin Yuquan cried out and admitted his mistake pitifully. "I won't dare to say nonsense again." Ren Jiao couldn't help laughing. This kind of family atmosphere was also very warm, making her feel that she could fit in naturally. "Eat food," Lin Miaomiao said with a dull face, picking up a piece of steamed pork with rice flour and giving it to her. "Don't learn from your uncle and others. They are disrespectful to the elderly." Lin Yuquan, who was admitting his mistake to his wife, got furious when he heard this. He was still young and in the prime of his life. How could he be disrespectful to the elderly? "Miaomiao, I'll give you a chance to apologize," Lin Yuquan leered at his niece. "Since you're my partner, I'll forgive you if you apologize." "No thanks," Lin Miaomiao said calmly. "I don't think I said anything wrong. It's just that you're older than me." Lin Yuquan was frustrated. It wasn't his fault he was older than me. It was his parents' fault for being so fertile. They'd given birth to him so many years later, now the same age as his eldest nephew. After a lively dinner, no one rushed back to their rooms. Instead, they gathered in the living room to chat, drink tea, and crack melon seeds, a kind of family tea party. Ran Jizhan, along with Ren Jiao and Yutong, shared their experiences as daughters-in-law in the Lin family. Lin Yuhei and Lin Xianhao engaged in a father-son conversation. The head of the family, Lin Qian, inquired about his youngest son's future plans. Even the twins sat together, arm in arm, bonding. Then Lin Miaomiao realized she was left alone. "Dad, big brother, what are you whispering about?" Lin Miaomiao leaned over, trying to join in the conversation. Miaomiao, stop making trouble. I'll play with you later, Lin Yuhei said with a doting smile. I'm going to discuss something with your eldest brother. You go talk to Grandpa first. Lin Miaomiao pouted and snuggled up to the head of the family unhappily. Grandpa, what are you talking about? Can you take me with you? Okay, I'll take you with me. Lin Katian smiled and patted her hand to comfort her. He turned around and chatted seriously with his youngest son. Your mecha level is still too low. You must strengthen your training to catch up. The men of the Lin family cannot fall behind. Lin Yuquan nodded seriously. Don't worry, father, I will. But, the father and son were chatting happily. The head of the family forgot about his precious granddaughter again. Looking at Ranjizhan and the three wives of the Lin family, there was no room for her to interrupt. It's so unfair. A little cook like me who is loved by everyone and flowers bloom wherever I go is ignored by everyone. Lin Miaomiao felt that she had suffered 10,000 points of damage. She was so depressed that she wanted to draw circles and curse those who ignored her. Only then did she miss Yi Hongwen. If you were here, he definitely wouldn't leave me alone. Chapter 333, Meeting the In-Laws. The warm tea party lasted until 9 o'clock in the evening. The Lin family members returned to their rooms contentedly, but Lin Miaomiao felt a sense of relief that it's finally over. She showered in her room, but couldn't fall asleep in bed. She'd slept too much during the day, so she decided to find someone to chat with and vent about the frustration of being ostracized by her family. But who to find was a problem. Zhu Chen and his wife weren't even considered. Of her remaining friends, would she choose the carefree Kao or the seemingly gentle but actually scheming Liken? As she was comparing, her video call suddenly rang. It was from Yi Hongwen. It was the person she'd just been thinking of, so Lin Miaomiao answered it without hesitation. Are you asleep? Yi Hongwen, dressed in black pajamas, leaned against the headboard, his face softly illuminated by the soft energy light. I was just getting ready for bed, Lin Miaomiao replied with feigned reserve, but I was delayed by your video message. Yi Hongwen raised an eyebrow. Oh, you're sleepy, then? Do you want me to sleep with you? Lin Miaomiao's ears felt a little hot, and she uncomfortably changed the subject. We had a tea party at home tonight, and no one paid any attention to me. I was bored all night. Take me with you from now on, and you won't be ignored. Yi Hongwen seized the opportunity to seduce her. If you agree to take me back this time, you won't be alone. How could I have known they were so mean? Lin Miaomiao muttered softly, not arguing, as if she had tacitly agreed. Yi Hongwen's heart trembled. It seemed that if there was another chance, Miaomiao would not object to taking them along. But then there was the problem. Who knew when that next time would be? As a new recruit, he couldn't ask for a second leave so soon after taking a short leave. He thought to himself that he should seize this opportunity, lest he have to wait a long time. After complaining bitterly about her family's indifference, Lin Miaomiao's mood finally improved. Seeing that it was already past 10 o'clock, she decided to leave the trash can across the street alone. She knew how busy things had been lately. I'm going to bed. If I don't have anything to do tomorrow, I'm going to go see Teacher Jin, Lin Miaomiao said, looking up at him. You should go to bed early too. Yi Hongwen was definitely unhappy about having to meet another man right after returning home, but he didn't say it out loud. Instead, he was resolute in going to meet Lulin. After hanging up the video call, Lin Miaomiao, who had been full of energy, felt sleepy and happily fell asleep. On the second day of the holiday, she thought she had nothing to do and was about to report to her parents before leaving, but a very important guest arrived, and everyone at home had to stand at the door to greet him. Marshal Ren, Madam Ren, welcome, Lin Yuhei greeted politely but warmly. Mom and Dad, how did you find time to come? Ren Jiaojiao's eyes were red with excitement. She had assumed her father would be busy with work and wouldn't come. Ren Yao, who ignored his daughter's disappointing performance and instead said with a hearty smile, Yuhei, after all, we've become a family. Yeah, I never thought I'd have such a connection with the marshal. Lin Yuhei sighed. It turned out that before Lin Yuhei retired, he was a formidable mech warrior, both brave and resourceful, and quite renowned within the Suzaku Corps. Back then, Ren Yao, who wasn't even a marshal, just a lieutenant general, and the two had met several times by chance. As a mech warrior in the Federation, Lin Yuhei and his wife were often separated. He always promised to return home to her when he could no longer pilot mechas. However, life was unpredictable, and his wife perished in an interstellar spaceship attack on the passenger ship they were traveling on. Seeing his daughter's personality change, he finally made up his mind to leave the front lines. When he submitted his application for demobilization, Lin Miaomiao offered him a civilian position under his command, but Lin Yin declined, thinking of his daughter at home. Lin Miaomiao nodded in agreement, and when he saw Lin Miaomiao with a paralyzed face, he was even happier. "This is your little daughter, right? You said you would go home to accompany her and straighten her temper, but it seems you didn't succeed." Lin Yin sweet-dropped. "Actually, she has returned to normal." His daughter was already a cheerful person, not introverted at all, but for some reason she liked to pretend to have a paralyzed face. However, not many people would believe such words, so Lin Yin could only hold it in his heart, and then he felt unhappy when he saw his daughter's paralyzed face. He immediately frowned and said to her, "Miaomiao, your sister-in-law's parents are coming today. Please take the trouble to make something delicious for them to welcome them at noon." Lin Miaomiao was mentally prepared, and nodded in response. "I know, your daughter can actually cook? I'm afraid Jiao can't even tell the difference between vegetables." Lin Miaomiao couldn't help but feel envious. It was so happy to be able to eat the food made by his daughter. Mrs. Ren, Guanqian, had heard her daughter mention this before, and knowing her future sister-in-law was a skilled cook, she said expectantly, "Then I'll trouble Miaomiao." "You're welcome," Lin Miaomiao replied. "I'll get busy then." Of course, lunch wouldn't be served so early, but such a meeting with the in-laws didn't concern her. She might as well go to the kitchen early instead of sitting here in a daze. Guanqian said in surprise, "Going to the kitchen so early? Let's play and chat for a while. I'll go get ready early, and then we can chat later." Lin Miaomiao replied seriously, but she knew she wouldn't come out until lunch was ready. "That's not good," Guanqian said, feeling a little embarrassed at having to send her sister-in-law off to work right after coming in. "Mom, we're family, there's no need for such polite words." Lin Xianhao finally found the opportunity to speak. Guanqian frowned. This son-in-law was really so familiar, calling her mom the moment they met. Suddenly, she felt a little sour. Her daughter had been kidnapped by a stranger. Lin Miaomiao felt a pang of resentment for prioritizing his sister over his lover. To please his mother-in-law, he'd actually made his sister work herself to death. A certain cook, resentful in her heart, obediently entered the kitchen. For the sake of her future sister-in-law, she'd endure the fatigue. After all, they'd been on missions together. Besides, being in the kitchen was more comfortable than staying here and watching her brother's fawning face. Putting aside the lively in-laws meeting in the living room, Lin Miaomiao didn't rush into the kitchen. Instead, she told Yi what ingredients were needed and asked him to check if there was anything missing. If there was, it was still in time to order them. Yi began to work, but Lin Miaomiao took the opportunity to call Jinhao. If he wasn't free today, he could go out tomorrow. She should first ask teacher Jin if he was available. It turned out that Jinhao was quite free. He had decided not to be a homeroom teacher this year. He was just a classroom teacher, teaching only a dozen classes a week. He was the general manager of the Lin family restaurant, but no one called him unless there was something important. Hearing that Lin Miaomiao was back and wanted to meet him, Jinhao said that he could meet her any time. If the cook was not free now, he could come to her house and have a meal or something. Lin Miaomiao was speechless. "My brother's parents-in-law are visiting today, and you come here to have a meal? It's ridiculous." "It doesn't matter," Jinhao replied without blushing. "I can come to her house under your boyfriend's name, Lin Miaomiao. I have a feeling that someone will beat him to death if they hear about it." Chapter 334, Iceberg Comes to Visit. Of course, Lin Miaomiao couldn't let Jinhao come to her house in the name of her boyfriend. If Yi Hongwen knew about this, he would probably take the opportunity to eat her up. In the end, the two of them reached an agreement for him to come to the Lin family to play the next day. Of course, Lin Miaomiao originally only planned to invite him to the Lin family restaurant for a meal, but Jinhao said that he was tired of eating there and wanted her to cook it herself. After all, she had already become a little cook, so it didn't matter if there were more people to eat. So she agreed. The welcome banquet for Ren Yao and his wife at noon was also very lively. All the Lin family members were there, and everyone was chatting happily at the table. The only frustrating thing was that except for a few compliments to a certain cook when they first came to the table, she was ignored afterwards. Ren Yao and his wife came here to attend their daughter's engagement party, and they also wanted to take this opportunity to announce the news that they had a daughter. That night, they stayed at the Lin family's old house. After all, the place was big and they didn't have to worry about not having a room to stay. Lin Miaomiao was ignored for another day, and in the evening, she sent a video message to Yi Hongwen to pour out her grievances, and the matter was over. On the third day of vacation, Lin Xianhao took his fiancée and his parents-in-law out to play, and the Lin family members who had something to do also went out, leaving only Ranjizhan and Lin Miaomiao at home. Ranjizhan didn't go out if there was nothing to do, but Lin Miaomiao wanted to wait for Jinhao to come over and treat him to a meal at noon. Since only Ranjizhan and Jinhao were having lunch, she didn't ask Yi to prepare too many ingredients. She just wanted to make 6 dishes: pickled fish, stir-fried clams, boiled shrimps, lotus blood duck, hot and sour potato shreds, and shredded cabbage, as well as lotus root and pork ribs soup. They waited until 11:30, and when the dishes were almost ready, Jinhao finally came over to eat. After the doorbell rang, Yi welcomed the person in. Lin Miaomiao was about to ask him why he arrived at this time, but Jinhao yelled, "Are the dishes ready? I'm hungry." Lin Miaomiao wanted to overturn the table. "Do you think this is a restaurant? You rush to serve the dishes as soon as you arrive. Can't you have some manners? At least say hello to the host." Jinhao waved his hand disapprovingly and said with a smile, "What is our relationship? There is no need to be so particular. Hurry up and serve the dishes." Well, she can't ask everyone to wait for the polite ones. Lin Miaomiao helplessly asked Yi to go upstairs to find Ranjizhan to come down for lunch, while she went into the kitchen to serve the dishes. Fortunately, Jinhao was not really a fool. When he saw Ranjizhan coming down, he immediately said sweetly, "Hello, Aunt Lin, I'm Miaomiao's boyfriend. I came to visit your house today." Lin Miaomiao was furious. "Jin, don't talk nonsense. You are just my former teacher and hired general manager. Aren't you afraid that I will beat you up for making jokes? You know you are joking, but you are still so fierce. After all, I was your teacher," Mr. Jinhao muttered. The three of them sat down and were about to eat when the doorbell rang again. Yi went to open the door. Lin Miaomiao asked curiously, "And are there any guests today?" Ranjizhan was also confused. "The engagement banquet is tomorrow. Even if there are guests, they shouldn't arrive today." No one thought that the family would come back at this time, because they had door cards. Unless there were special circumstances, everyone would open the door by themselves. Regardless of who the visitor was, the host had to rise and greet them. Assuming the guests would be walking from the courtyard gate to the living room, Lin Miaomiao and Ranjizhan both left the dining room to greet them, leaving Jinhao drooling over the table overflowing with food. Lin Miaomiao was stunned upon seeing the new guest. "Why are you here?" Ranjizhan glanced at her sensitively, realizing she knew the stranger. She asked with a smile, "So you're someone Miaomiao knows. Would you like to introduce me to second aunt?" Before Lin Miaomiao could recover from her surprise, Yi Hongwen introduced himself. "Hello, second aunt, I'm Miaomiao's boyfriend, Yi Hongwen." Ranjizhan was stunned. Hearing two people claim to be his niece's boyfriend in the same day, what could be going on? Miaomiao had denied the previous one, so this one couldn't be a joke, either. "Miaomiao, is he serious?" Ranjizhan demanded. Lin Miaomiao thought for a long time, but nodded generously and admitted, "Second aunt, he is my boyfriend." Ranji really didn't know what to say. If the old man and uncle were at home, they would probably be so angry that they would jump up and down. After all, Miaomiao was not even 20 years old, and a wolf came to take her away. Jinhao, who heard a familiar voice in the restaurant, jumped out. "Yi Bingshan, why are you here? Is Shen Yu so free?" "Jinhao? Why are you here?" Yi Hongwen frowned and stared at him. He felt unhappy in his heart. Miaomiao didn't bring him, her boyfriend, home, but brought back those messy friends. It was really enough. Jinhao, who was categorized as a messy friend, boasted smugly, "Miaomiao asked me to dinner as soon as she got back, and she even cooked for me herself." I was so embarrassed. Lin Miaomiao's eyebrows jumped, sensing someone was about to vent their anger, and she quickly explained, "I didn't ask him to come. He refused to eat at a restaurant and insisted that I cook for him myself." "Oh," Yi Hongwen softened a little after hearing this, but still said, "Take him to restaurants next time, so he won't be relied upon." "I see." Lin Miaomiao nodded casually in agreement. "You haven't had breakfast yet, have you?" "We were just about to." "Since you're here, let's go together." Yi Hongwen had no objection, and so the 3-person lunch became a 4-person lunch. During the meal, Jin Hao took the initiative to provoke Yi Hongwen several times, but he ignored them all. After lunch, Ranjis unconsciously went upstairs. As the elder, she felt a little cautious when she stayed downstairs to let the young people speak. Besides, Miaomiao's boyfriend coming over was a big deal, and she had to inform the old man and her uncle. Lin Miaomiao and the other two moved to the living room to talk. In fact, she didn't have much to say to Jin Hao. She invited him to dinner to thank him for helping to look after the Lin family restaurant, even though she hadn't deducted a cent from his salary. But when Yi Hongwen came, it was he who caught up with Jin Hao. However, he seemed to be an iceberg and didn't like to talk about the past. He sent the guests away 4 or 5 times in half an hour, which made Lin Miaomiao, who was listening, feel a pain in her stomach. No matter how thick-skinned Jin Hao was, he couldn't stand being repeatedly kicked out. He left with a face full of resentment. Fortunately, Yi Hongwen was not really heartless and agreed to meet again in front of Yuanxing. After sending Jin Hao out, Lin Miaomiao asked in confusion, "Since we are going to get together again, why do you want to send him away now? It would be better for him to stay and have dinner before leaving." Yi Hongwen looked at her helplessly. "This is my first time visiting your house, and you brought me here. Do you think your father and your brother will let me go easily?" Lin Miaomiao shook her head decisively. Even if her eldest brother would let her go, her father would definitely not. After all, this was different from Ren Jiao coming to recognize the family. A daughter-in-law was married into the family and must be welcomed, but a son-in-law was taken away. After his father knew about it, his first reaction would probably be to throw the person out. "Okay, I will mourn for you," Lin Miaomiao said seriously. Chapter 335 Beat you shamelessly. Yi Hongwen was absolutely right. When he received the notice from his second sister-in-law, Lin Yuhei was so angry that he almost destroyed his office. After that, he didn't even think about working anymore and wanted to go home directly from get off work. However, the conscientious colleague stopped him and said, "President, you have an important meeting at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Heguan Group's year-end summary meeting is something that the president cannot miss, otherwise Corey will not stop him, and even wants to go back to the Lin family to join in the fun." The precious eldest daughter of the Lin family had a boyfriend before she was 20. It was said that she had a boyfriend under the nose of her brother. It would be strange if Lin Yuhei wasn't angry. Now he not only beat up the big bad wolf who wanted to take away his daughter, but also wanted to beat up his son. After Hao Bao persisted until the end of the meeting, Lin Yuhei rushed home without stopping, and even Corey followed him under the guise of worrying about the CEO's safety. Upon entering the living room, Lin Yuhei saw neither his daughter nor the wolf in sight. He had a foreboding feeling. When his son and his wife returned, he hadn't asked Yi to prepare a guest room, instead sending them straight to his son's room, even remarking sarcastically, "Young couples should live together." Now his daughter's boyfriend had shown up, and he had no doubt Yi, with his high intelligence and emotional intelligence, would make the same arrangement. He was probably already brazenly entering his daughter's bedroom. The thought filled Lin Yuhei with regret. He didn't have time to bother with his gossipy assistant. He quickly rushed upstairs and knocked furiously on his daughter's door. Knock, knock, knock. After a series of pounding, the door opened, revealing Lin Miaomiao, dressed in adorably fluffy nightgown. She yawned and asked, "Dad, why are you back so early? It's not even 3:30, where is he?" "Is he in there?" Lin Yuhei demanded, his face furious. "Who is it?" Lin Miaomiao asked subconsciously, and only after she asked did she come to her senses. Her father should be asking about Yi Hongwen. It was probably Yi or second aunt who tipped him off. No wonder he came back so early. She remembered that her father had been very busy these days. It was absolutely impossible for him to leave work early without something important. "Don't play dumb. Where is that wild man who came to your house? Is he in your room?" Lin Yuhei pushed his daughter away and was about to rush in, but stopped the next moment. It was not that he didn't want to go in and catch the man, but the man had already walked out by himself, wearing a white military uniform with some suspicious creases on it. "Dad, you're back," Yi Hongwen shouted calmly. Lin Miaomiao was stunned. After not seeing him for a few days, this man's face had become thicker. He actually called everyone Dad. Even her sister-in-law still called him Uncle. You, Lin Yuhei stretched out his trembling finger and pointed at the tip of Yi Hongwen's nose. "Can you have some shame, Yi Hongwen raised his eyebrows. I think it's more important to have a wife. It's useless to save face in front of your own people. What he said made sense. Lin Yuhei couldn't help but nodded in agreement. Halfway through nodding, he remembered that this guy was here to snatch his daughter away. If he nodded, wouldn't he be handing his daughter to him with both hands? He quickly stopped the action. Don't quibble. My daughter isn't even 20 yet, and you have the nerve to set your sights on her. Lin Yuhei glared at him sternly. Get out of my house now and stay away from my daughter, or I'll beat you to death. No, Yi Hongwen refused without hesitation. What a joke. If he left now, his wife would be gone. I really want to be with Miaomiao. Even if I have to get beaten, I'll accept it. Lin Yuhei fell silent. He pulled out a black stick from his space button and lashed out at Yi Hongwen. Yi Hongwen didn't dare to resist, but he wasn't going to stand there foolishly and take the beating. He pushed the person approaching him away and quickly dodged to the side. The next scene was Father Lin chasing after him with a black stick, while Yu Hulang ran nimbly in front, unable to stop him. Father Lin chased him, shouting, "Don't run. I'm going to beat you up, you shameless bastard." Yi Hongwen continued to run. Only a fool would stand there and let Father Lin hit him. While the self-torture trick was convenient, Miaomiao would definitely feel distressed if she was beaten too hard by her enraged father-in-law. After a while of chasing and beating, even Ran Jizhan, who was downstairs, was alarmed and ran upstairs to see what was going on. Seeing the sullen father-in-law chasing his unemployed son-in-law, he was immediately filled with joy and stood at the door with Kari to watch the show. Even after retiring from the army and entering business, Lin Yuhei still insisted on exercising every day. Even after chasing Yu Hulang for over half an hour, he still looked energetic and showed no signs of fatigue, which amazed Lin Yuquan, who had just returned and joined the strong onlookers. The boss is worthy of being the boss. He has been pampered for so many years, and his physical fitness is still good. Even if he is asked to drive a mecha to the battlefield now, it probably won't be a big problem, Lin Yuquan said with a proud expression. The men of our Lin family are so strong, and Yutong rolled his eyes at him. Don't flatter yourself, don't forget that you can't beat me. Lin Yuquan suffered 10,000 points of damage and almost shed tears. You don't count, with your tough appearance? How can you look like a woman? Oh really? And Yutong was not angry, but smiled charmingly and said, then you sleep on the floor tonight. Don't sleep with me who doesn't look like a woman. I don't want a wife, I was just joking, Lin Yuquan screamed. He just complained casually, but didn't want to end up in the miserable situation of sleeping on the floor. And Yutong flirted at him and said firmly, unfortunately, I'm not joking. You'll sleep on the floor tonight. Lin Yuquan burst into tears. Why couldn't he control his mouth? Seeing the Lin family members returning one after another and more people watching, Lin Miaomiao decided to stop her father from beating her future son-in-law. Dad, stop it. Lin Miaomiao took aim and rushed in front of Lin Yuhei. You're going to destroy my room if you don't stop. Lin Yuhei hurriedly braked, muttering dissatisfiedly, it's just a room, if it's destroyed, it's destroyed. Dad will redecorate it for you, and it will definitely look beautiful. Get out of the way, let me beat that shameless guy to death first. That won't do, Lin Miaomiao pouted. What if you hurt your future son-in-law? I haven't planned to change my boyfriend yet. Lin Yuhei widened his eyes. Do you mean to plead for him? Nonsense, he is my man, Lin Miaomiao declared very domineeringly, but then she coaxed her father in a good voice. Be good, I'll see if I can find a way to bring him back to be a son-in-law in the future. This idea seems good. Lin Yuhei was convinced. If he was a son-in-law, his daughter would not have to leave home. Thinking of this, Lin Yuhei began to like Yi Hongwen. If he was going to be a live-in son-in-law, his appearance was acceptable. He was wearing the white military uniform of a senior officer, and his personal ability should be guaranteed. Okay, Lin Yuhei patted his daughter's shoulder. You have to try hard to convince him to come. Lin Miaomiao breathed a sigh of relief and glanced at Yi Hongwen, who was standing not far away. Seeing that he had no opinion on the idea of a live-in son-in-law, she immediately became curious. Could it be that he really agreed to such a thing? It was not until later when she accidentally mentioned this matter that Yi Hongwen calmly answered her, we will be in the fleet for a long time. We will probably settle down on Shaoyin Star in the future. It doesn't make any difference whether he's a live-in son-in-law or not. Chapter 336. The eldest brother was taken away. The day after Yi Hongwen's uninvited arrival was Lin Xianheo's engagement party. The Lin family had already completed preparations before they returned, so there wasn't much rush. The engagement party was once again held at the Lin family restaurant, but this time, Lin Miaomiao didn't have to cook. After all, the restaurant chefs were professionals. Once they learned a dish, they would gradually master and innovate, resulting in a delicious final result. If it were just a matter of taste, Lin Miaomiao would be outclassed. After all, the chefs were professionals, all they cared about was the flavor. However, while restaurant food was delicious, it wasn't meant to be eaten every day. After all, excessive seasoning would destroy the nutrients in the food. In contrast, Lin Miaomiao's dishes were tasty and lightly seasoned, making them more suitable for home dining. This time, the engagement party was a buffet, allowing everyone to choose whatever dishes they liked, even if they wanted to stick to the same dish all they could. They could also chat with anyone they found interesting, provided they were willing to pay attention. The engagement banquet officially began at 12:08 p.m. The Lin family, along with Ren Yaohu and his wife and a thick-skinned burden, arrived over half an hour early. As hosts, arriving late was considered rude. Lin Miaomiao was surprised to see a guest arrive even earlier. Isn't it common for guests to be late? Why are they rushing here so eagerly? Aren't they bored? Yi Hongwen casually glanced at the group and explained nonchalantly, your Lin family is one of the top 5 families in Milulan. With the eldest grandson of the Lin family getting engaged, naturally, many people are eager to capitalize on the opportunity to build relationships. Given the Lin family's status in Milulan, lateness was rare. Even among the top 5 families, respect was expected. If one family acted in a way that offended the others would likely unite and retaliate. As soon as the Lin family entered the warm and elegant banquet hall, the early arrivals swarmed over to greet them. Some, more discerning, spotted Ren Yaohu and his wife and frantically squeezed closer to the Lin family. Seeing that the situation was not good, Lin Yin hurriedly ordered his granddaughter to take the people away. Take your in-laws and mother-in-law to the lounge on the top floor and come out after the banquet starts. Okay, Lin Miaomiao responded and called Ren Yaohu and his wife. With the help of the Lin family, she led them out of the siege and rushed into the elevator reserved for hotel employees. The elevator reserved for employees requires employee ID to enter, and the guests following behind them cannot enter, so after entering the elevator, everyone breathed a sigh of relief. Then Lin Miaomiao found that Yi Hongwen had also followed them up. It's boring to just sit in the lounge. Uncle Ren and the others have no choice. Why did you follow them? Lin Miaomiao asked puzzledly. Yi Hongwen said calmly, wherever you are, I will follow. As long as you are around, there will be no boredom. She liked this answer. Lin Miaomiao thought happily and didn't say anything more. Ren Yaohu, who had been following them silently, suddenly smiled and said, Hongwen has found someone he likes. If Mr. Yu were still alive, he would surely be very happy. He was answered by silence. Yi Hongwen's handsome face turned a little colder. And he obviously didn't want to bring up this topic. Ren Yaohu wanted to continue speaking, but Guan Qianian winked at him, signaling him to shut up quickly. Guan Qianian was really worried about her husband's emotional intelligence. He knew that it was someone else's sad story, but he still poked at the wound. It was a good thing that he didn't yell at him. Hongwen, I heard from your mother some time ago that she went to visit your relatives. Could it be that she ran over because she heard that you had a girlfriend? Guan Qianian said jokingly. This time, Yi Hongwen didn't remain silent. Instead, he nodded and answered bluntly, she wanted to see her future daughter-in-law, so she came under the guise of seeing me. Guan Qianian covered her mouth with a smile. Your mother is just too impatient. She's already rushing over to see her daughter-in-law before she's even married. She's not afraid of scaring her off. Truth be told, Guan Qianian had originally favored Yi Hongwen as a son-in-law, which was why she sent her daughter to the Shenyu fleet, hoping to capitalize on the proximity. But who knew that not only did the two girls not connect, but most astonishingly, no one could tell they'd known each other since childhood. If you hold on tight, you won't scare them away, Yi Hongwen said confidently. He'd consulted many people and figured out the most effective way to woo someone. From now on, all he had to do was hold on tight. The lounge was truly boring, and the four of them chatted idly. Then Lin Miaomiao realized that while Ren Yaohu appeared to be domineering and intelligent, he actually lacked emotional intelligence. Every time he spoke, he ended up silencing the audience. For example, when talking to Yi Hongwen, he always liked to bring up Old Man Yi, but that certain iceberg seemed to dislike the topic and always ignored it directly. Then he would come to chat with Lin Miaomiao, and start by lamenting that her mother passed away too early, and asked you if her father planned to remarry, and he could introduce her to a gentle and virtuous woman. Because he was the father-in-law of her eldest brother, Lin Miaomiao would pay a few words to him at first, but later, seeing that Yi Hongwen ignored him, she chose to ignore him too. It wasn't that she was impolite, but the more she paid attention to him, the more he became arrogant. At 8 minutes past 12, the engagement banquet officially began. Lin Miaomiao escorted the two in-laws downstairs and breathed a sigh of relief when she saw them approaching the podium. Finally, they've handed the person over. How did someone like this who loves to pick on people become a marshal? And he still has so many people supporting him. Yi Hongwen was a little amused. He's not like this usually. He probably wanted to test his sister-in-law's personality for his daughter, to see if she was easy to get along with, so he deliberately picked on you. What about you? Why would he pick on you? Lin Miaomiao wrinkled her nose in disapproval. I think he just likes to pick on you. Yi Hongwen was speechless. Could he say that it was because he didn't like his daughter, and Ren Yao who was angry and thought he was blind that he was deliberately picking on her? After hearing such words, the little cook just wanted to get to the bottom of it, wondering if he had any feelings for King Mei. After all, he only realized and started pursuing Ren Jiao after she got together with Lin Xianhao. Fortunately, Lin Miaomiao only muttered a few words casually and had no intention of investigating further. In addition, Ren Yao and his wife had already taken the stage to speak, and Ren Jiao's identity ignited the whole audience. The banquet hall was in chaos and it was difficult to chat. I guess many people are eager to replace my brother's position as the groom-to-be. Lin Miaomiao couldn't help but sigh. Looking at her elder brother standing on the stage with Ren Jiao in high spirits, Lin Miaomiao felt a little sour in her heart. For some reason, she suddenly felt that her elder brother was really snatched away by someone. She had never felt this way before. Yi Hongwen turned around and saw that her face was not right. After a little thought, he knew what she was thinking. He suddenly felt funny in his heart, so he reached out and hugged her and whispered, "Big brother is still your elder brother, and you have me here with you. Don't be sad, who knows if you will be snatched away by someone one day." Lin Miaomiao buried her head in his arms and said in a muffled voice. Who knows? Yi Hongwen looked at the sweetly smiling engaged couple on the podium. If you hesitate to agree to go back with me to meet my parents, I might run away one day. So do you want to go back with me tomorrow? Lin Miaomiao was depressed. Shouldn't she promise him that he would never run away and would stay with her for the rest of her life? Why did she jump to meeting her parents instead? Bad review. Chapter 337 The Old Man's First Love. After the engagement party, after seeing off Ren Yao and his wife, the fiancé, Lin Yuquan and his wife, and Ran Jizhan, and the twins went back to school, the Lin family returned to their former tranquility. Lin Xianhao was going to accompany his fiancé to the Ren family to get acquainted with him. Lin Miaomiao came back with him and was supposed to go back to Shaoyingxing with him, but she wanted to stay at home for 2 days. After all, the leave she had requested couldn't be wasted. Yi Hongwen didn't leave either. Since Gu Qingheng was at the Shenaiyu base anyway, he didn't have to worry about any urgent matters needing to be dealt with. He stayed with peace of mind under the pretext of cultivating relationships with the Lin family. It's worth mentioning that, in addition to successfully taking a nap in his girlfriend's room on the first day he arrived, he later had a separate guest room, and it was on the first floor. Lin Yuhe wouldn't be happy to see his daughter being taken advantage of right under his nose. In fact, if it weren't for Lin Miaomiao's insistence that she wouldn't change her boyfriend in the future, and if it weren't for the support of Lin Xiaoshu and Lin Xianhao, Yi Hongwen probably wouldn't even have the chance to stay overnight in the Lin family's old house. The 2-day vacation passed in a flash, and Lin Miaomiao and her boyfriend booked a passenger ship ticket for the last day of the vacation at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so the old man and Lin Yuhe came back for lunch that day. Lin Miaomiao prepared a table of delicious food, ready to have a good chat with the two elders, say goodbye, etc., but unfortunately the two elders did not cooperate. Listen carefully, kid with the surname Yi, even if you are in the same base, you can't bully my Miaomiao, Lin Yuhe warned sternly. Don't think you are great just because you are a captain. Our Lin family is not afraid of you. I will take good care of Miaomiao. She is the only one who bullies me, Yi Hongwen replied seriously. In comparison, the old man's attitude was incredibly good. Xiaoyi, I know you are a good child with a cold exterior but a warm heart. Our Miaomiao is young and still very childish. You should be more careful and don't get into any trouble too early. The old man's words were very subtle, but Lin Miaomiao understood them immediately and her face instantly became hot. Was he worried that she would get pregnant at such a young age? Yi Hongwen turned his head and gave Lin Miaomiao a meaningful look, as if condemning her cruelty. Even the elders only asked not to cause any deaths, but she was on high alert. Lin Miaomiao glared at him fiercely, thinking that someone had treated her so badly in the past, so it would be a shame to let him get what he wanted too early. Didn't someone say that the easier it is to get something, the less you will cherish it? She was making plans for the future. Grandpa, what a fool. He could even say such things. It would be best to stop him. Lin Miaomiao tried to change the subject, but she couldn't find a safe one. Instead, she could only think of something related to the child. Grandpa, do you know someone named Liang Hongao? Puff. Lin Yuhe spat out a red wine in his mouth and glared at his precious daughter in frustration. Why bring up the Lin family's private affairs at this time? With outsiders present, wouldn't that make them a laughingstock? Lin Miaomiao gave her father a resentful look. She didn't want to bring it up, but she couldn't find a topic to talk about. Besides, she'd been telling him about this for days, with no response. Her curiosity was already overflowing. Father and daughter exchanged glances, unaware of the shock and nostalgia that crossed the old man's face. Only Yi Hongwen glanced at him sensitively, but couldn't speak. After a long pause, the old man finally recovered his composure and asked, bewildered, why are you suddenly asking about someone like this? Because something happened. It's related to the Lin family and her. Lin Miaomiao mumbled as she gnawed on a piece of pork chop. It's said that her daughter is the Lin family's illegitimate daughter, and I look 50% like her. Bang! The old man's bowl fell onto the table, spilling rice everywhere. He paid no attention, simply muttering, the Lin family's illegitimate daughter, Liang Hongao, how dare you? Lin Yuhe sensed something was amiss and looked at his father with suspicion. Could this Liang Hongao be related to him? He wanted to ask, but he didn't dare to speak. He was afraid his guess was wrong, but also afraid he was right. He was suddenly torn. Lin Miaomiao had already covered her mouth, not daring to say anything. If Liang Hongao's daughter was her grandfather's, wouldn't it mean that he had wronged his deceased grandmother? Such a consequence was too horrible. She refused to ask further, but the old man was more than willing to share his memories. Liang Hongao was my first love, Grandpa. You're saying she was your first love, so wouldn't that mean you were cheating on me? Lin Miaomiao looked at him with a scathing look. Aren't the men of the Lin family supposedly loyal and worthy of a lifelong commitment? How could you do this to Grandma? Although Grandma was no longer alive and Lin Miaomiao had never actually met her, many of the videos she found on her communicator were of the old woman, a gentle, beautiful, and elegant lady. What a jerk. Lin Miaomiao couldn't help but mutter to herself. Even if the old man treated her well, she still wanted to stand up for Grandma. Miaomiao, how can you talk to Grandpa like that? Lin Yuhe scolded him in a suggestive tone, but he felt a pang of frustration. Even if the Lin family needed a daughter, he wouldn't acknowledge that illegitimate daughter as his sister. The old man frowned. He knew his son and granddaughter were full of opinions about him, but he didn't care. He simply said, you misunderstood. She was my first love, but we broke up before I met your grandmother. If we broke up, how could there be an illegitimate daughter? Lin Miaomiao scoffed. She wouldn't listen to any explanation. I don't know, the old man said, also a little bewildered. I haven't seen her since we got married. The old man and his first love had been very close, and he had originally planned to be together forever. But he didn't expect that after he brought his girlfriend home to meet his parents, she would break up. Even now, the old man still remembered Liang Hongao's reason for breaking up. You're too outstanding, and you have an even better family. I can't adapt, and I don't want to adapt, so let's break up. Despite the old man's repeated attempts to persuade her to stay, and his repeated assurances that the Lin family would never look down on her, Liang Hongao still resolutely broke up with him and quickly disappeared from his life, as if she had never appeared. Yi Hongwen suddenly said, Miaomiao, do you know how old her daughter is? If she is older than her father, everyone present was smart and understood what he meant. If Liang Hongao's daughter was older than Lin Yuhe, then the old man would not be unfair to his deceased wife. Several pairs of eyes were staring at Lin Miaomiao waiting for an answer, but her answer was, I don't know. I haven't asked. Otherwise, I will find time to ask who's ZHI. The matter was settled, But Lin Miaomiao remembered that she had something to say. She didn't say it specifically because she thought it had nothing to do with her family, but now she felt it necessary to say it. There is something Grandpa must be mentally prepared for, Lin Miaomiao said with some difficulty. Liang Hongayu's daughter Lin Yin is dead. She went out with her son and encountered space pirates. Grandpa Lin and Lin Yuhei were stunned. What on earth could this be? Grandpa Lin even felt a little sad. If it was really his daughter, and he had just heard about it and lost her, then he owed her a lot. Dad, Lin Yuhei called out worriedly, things are not confirmed yet. Maybe Lin Yin is not your daughter. Old man Lin waved his hands and said, I'm fine. If it really is Liang Hongyu, she won't lie. Moreover, the news about Miaomiao was that Lin Yin was 50% similar to her, but Miaomiao looked like a member of the Lin family. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 338 Entering the House. Grandpa Lin is a man who has experienced many ups and downs. Although his emotions have experienced great ups and downs, he has remained stable. He even comforted Lin Miaomiao when she was about to leave and told her not to worry. Grandpa is strong. Although he may have a daughter, he lost her as soon as he found out and they never got along. His sadness is limited, but he feels more of a sense of guilt because he didn't know of her existence and they never got along. After boarding the return ferry, Lin Miaomiao couldn't help but sigh. I didn't expect Grandpa to have a love affair. I heard from Dad that the Lin family rarely gets emotional, but once they do, they stay faithful to one person. So, was Grandpa in love with Grandma, or was he his first love? Yi Hongwen frowned. There's no need to dwell too much on these old things. By the way, do you think you're promising me a lifetime? Lin Miaomiao rolled her eyes and said irresponsibly, that's hard to say. A person's life is neither long nor short. If you ever let me down, I definitely won't be faithful to you, just like Liang Hongyu, who abandoned Grandpa because she felt uncomfortable. Grandpa also moved on. You mean, if I can treat you well forever, then you won't leave, right? Yi Hongwen insisted on getting an answer. Seeing the seriousness in his eyes, Lin Miaomiao thought for a moment and said seriously, if you don't leave, I won't abandon you. Yi Hongwen got a satisfactory answer, and the corners of his mouth raised high, and a rare smile appeared on his face. Although the smile was very faint and could not be seen at all if you didn't pay attention, it still stunned a certain cook. A gentleman is like jade. What should I do if I really want to go up and take a bite? Action is worse than thought. Lin Miaomiao glanced around and saw that no one was paying attention to them, so she pounced on his handsome face and took a bite. After biting, she wanted to retreat, but was hugged tightly by Yi Hongwen. You came to my door yourself, it's not that easy to run away, Yi Hongwen said and directly blocked her mouth. At around 8 o'clock in the evening, the two rushed back to the Shenyu base. At this time, everyone habitually went to Changguang for training, and they hardly met anyone on the way back to the dormitory. When the elevator stopped at Lin Miaomiao's dormitory, she turned around to say goodbye, but was surprised to see Yi Hongwen following her out. You've been on a passenger ship for so long, don't you want to go back and rest? They hadn't bought sleeper tickets for the return trip. They hadn't felt particularly comfortable lying halfway back at Milulan. In fact, they'd accidentally fallen asleep, and after staying in that position for too long, they'd felt stiff and uncomfortable after disembarking. So Sid insisted on buying a seat. A seated ticket made it easier to fall asleep, and if she got tired of sitting for too long, she could get up and walk around. Even so, she still felt uncomfortable. The passenger ship was too small, with limited space to move around. It wasn't like a battleship, where you could sit when you wanted, go back to your room when you wanted to sleep, and go to the training room to stretch your muscles when you felt bored. That's why Lin Miaomiao wanted nothing more than to go back to her room and lie down. How could she do that if Yi Hongwen followed her? I was afraid he'd be tackled before I even laid down. Lin Miaomiao tried to persuade the envious person to go back to his room and rest, but he remained calm, saying, I've already gone home with you to meet your parents and have their consent. From now on, your room is mine too. Lin Miaomiao was speechless. She really wanted to cut his face with a knife to measure how thick it was. She wondered who had instilled these scoundrel ideas in him, Liu Yifei or Luo Chang. When Zixi, this is my military advisor's disciple, who I've worked so hard to teach. How can I let someone else take all the credit? The shameless iceberg was invincible. Lin Miaomiao's will was weak to begin with, and coupled with Iceberg's trickery, she surrendered in less than 2 minutes, allowing Iceberg to enter and occupy the other half of her bed. After Iceberg entered, he truly treated the place as his own dormitory, and without waiting for Lin Miaomiao to say anything, he went into the bathroom like a master to shower. Lin Miaomiao stared at the closed bathroom door for a long moment before finally removing her coat and trousers. Without even changing into her pajamas, she jumped into bed, trying to get sleepy and pretending to be asleep. She had never shared a bed with a man before or since her time travel. As for the time her father caught her in the Lin family mansion a few days ago, she could only say that the creases on someone's clothes were actually from lying in the lying star net. She tossed and turned, unable to fall asleep. Another powerful presence intruded into her private space, undeniable. Even Lin Miaomiao's heart was broken, and she couldn't fall asleep peacefully. It wasn't until she heard movement in the bathroom that she curled up on her side and pretended to be asleep. Not long after, Lin Miaomiao felt a sudden lurch on the other side of the bed. She knew someone must have gotten into bed, so she tried to steady her breathing, trying to pretend to be asleep. Then she felt herself being held, like a rag doll, her whole body entwined in someone's arms. Lin Miaomiao almost forgot that she was pretending to be asleep and jumped up to protest, but fortunately she reacted quickly and continued to remain motionless, hoping that Yi Hongwen would quickly close his eyes and fall asleep. Miaomiao, Yi Hongwen called softly in a low and sexy voice, as if he was afraid of waking her up. The person pretending to be asleep did not say a word. She had made up her mind to pretend to be asleep to the end. She must not give him a chance to take advantage of her tonight, and she must not let the wolf in the door in a daze tomorrow. She must hold her ground and not let someone succeed too easily. As for whether someone would take advantage of her while she was sleeping, Lin Miaomiao said that if he was such a beast, she would just use this as an excuse to drive him out. Facts have proved that her thoughts were too simple and too beautiful, because she could pretend to be asleep, and someone could also take advantage of her under the banner of being high-end. Miaomiao is so tired today, she just lay down without even changing into her pajamas. She'll probably feel uncomfortable again tomorrow. I'd better help her change out of her pajamas first, Yi Hongwen muttered to himself, getting up and digging into the closet for a suspender nightgown. Regardless of whether it was hot or cold, Lin Miaomiao always changed into pajamas before bed, always short-sleeved or with suspenders. On colder days, she'd just throw on a long-sleeved, plush, drawstring coat when she got out of bed, so Yi Hongwen was happy to help her change out. After getting the clothes and turning up the heat, Yi Hongwen sat in the middle of the bed, pulled back the covers, and leaned over to unbutton Lin Miaomiao's shirt. 1, 2. The person pretending to sleep had her eyelids twitching, finally giving up the pretense and reaching out to slap his hand away with a snap. "What are you doing?" Lin Miaomiao demanded through gritted teeth. "I'm changing your pajamas," Yi Hongwen said with a hint of innocence on his cold face. "I'm worried that you'll feel uncomfortable when you wake up tomorrow morning." Lin Miaomiao was upset. It seemed that she should thank him for his help. Chapter 339 Ranking Tournament News. Lin Miaomiao, feeling depressed, didn't want to answer the video call at all at this time. She felt that she needed some quiet time, but the communicator placed on the bedside table kept ringing, which made her even more depressed. She picked up the communicator impatiently and answered it. "What's the matter?" Lin Miaomiao asked in a bad tone, and then she found that the person who sent her the video call was the one who disappeared early in the morning. "Huh? Why are you unhappy?" Yi Hongwen noticed that she was in a bad mood, so he could only put aside what he was going to say. Lin Miaomiao rolled her eyes at him when he asked knowingly, "I'm in a good mood. If there's nothing else, I'll hang up the video call." Yi Hongwen couldn't find out the reason, but he had an idea in his heart. It was because he was no longer angry, but was too embarrassed to say it out loud. But he didn't expose her, simply explaining subtly, "Gu Qingheng had something to talk to me about last night, so we weren't available for a video call. He called again this morning, saying something urgent was going on and urging me to come over. It turned out Q had dragged him away." Lin Miaomiao felt a little relieved, but she still grumbled, "What's so urgent?" He urged her in the morning, as if it was urgent. Why hadn't he sent any video calls while they were in Miluolan? What Lin Miaomiao didn't know was that Gu Qingheng had already sent several video calls to urge Yi Hongwen to return home while they were in Miluolan. It was just that someone was obsessed with making a name for himself in the Lin family, and while this matter was important, it wasn't something the deputy captain couldn't handle. As for why he had to rush Yi Hongwen back, it boiled down to Gu Qingheng's agitation. Although his confession had been rejected by Miaomiao, he was slowly transforming his romantic feelings into friendship, then brotherhood, but it couldn't happen overnight. Last night, when Yi Hongwen and Lin Miaomiao's video calls went unanswered, Gu Qingheng had a suspicion. This morning, when he called again, the call was still rejected, and he received only a text message asking what was going on. This confirmed his suspicion, and his heart suddenly felt like a whirlwind of emotions, a mixture of sweet, sour, bitter, and salty. "It's not a big deal," Yi Hongwen said, speechless. He'd been rushed out to the captain's room early, only to be turned away. The urgent matter was, the annual fleet ranking tournament is about to begin. Shen Yu had never participated in previous years, so their strength was automatically ranked last. During the 2 years Yi Hongwen took over, they had wanted to participate, but unfortunately, the ranking tournament required each fleet to field a full 200-man mecha division. Fewer or more wouldn't be able to register, and Shen Yu's lowest number of members was less than 100. "When does the ranking tournament start?" Lin Miaomiao peeked. She'd heard it was exciting, but because it wasn't open to the public, she'd never seen it. "It starts at the end of January every year," Yi Hongwen replied, then explained, "That's when the fleets are off duty. The military takes the opportunity to test each fleet's strength and get to know each other, putting pressure on everyone. It's still more than half a month away," Lin Miaomiao said disappointedly. "Why is Qingqiu pushing so hard?" Yi Hongwen raised his lip and kindly spoke up for Gu Qingheng. "His childhood sweetheart is calling him back, or he'll have to give up treatment. When I'm away, he can still stall by staying at the base, but when I come back, he has to rush back without stopping." It turned out to be Xiaoran exploiting the situation again. Lin Miaomiao sighed, realizing she didn't feel much sympathy for Qingqiu. They had spoiled this, and they had no choice but to bear the consequences. She just didn't know the extent of Xiaoran's illness. She'd been on Yimin Star for over half a month, and still needed treatment, which meant her condition was seriously dire. "I hope she's okay," Lin Miaomiao sighed softly. Xiaoran's collapse on Yimin Star was in part due to Gu Qingheng. Even if everyone knew her poor health was the primary cause, how many people could remain calm and not vent their anger on others after losing a loved one? Gu Qingheng, meanwhile, claimed to treat Xiaoran like his own sister, yet he didn't understand the principle that those involved are often confused, while those observing from the sidelines can see more clearly. Lin Miaomiao believed he had long since crossed the line with Xiaoran, his self-hypnosis blinding him to his own feelings. Lin Miaomiao wasn't one to meddle in other people's affairs, but she brought it up with Gu Qingheng. However, the person involved refused to believe her, clinging to his belief that it couldn't be possible. She even thought, "You're saying this to get me to give up on you quickly. Don't worry, you're already with Yi Hongwen, and I won't be behind your back." At this point, Lin Miaomiao dared not say anything more and could only watch silently, and alone, for Yi Hongwen had no interest in his rival's affairs. "Miaomiao, I brought you breakfast and put it on the dining table in the living room. You can eat it later. Don't go to training today. I will approve your leave later," Yi Hongwen instructed, without any shame for abusing his power for personal gain. "Why are you approving my leave? There's still time. It's only 7:30, Lin Miaomiao was unhappy. She had been on a mission for half a month and then came home for a week. She hadn't trained with Kantir and the others for a long time. Yi Hongwen patiently comforted her, "There's no rush about training. The fleet is now doing intensive training to prepare for the ranking competition. I'm sure your body won't be able to handle it today. Get enough rest and wait until tomorrow to train." Well, Lin Miaomiao was convinced. She really didn't want to do intensive training today. She just wanted to go to keep in touch with her friends, but since Yi Hongwen said so, she might as well change the way of keeping in touch. "I'll cook for you at noon and ask Kantir and the others to come over for lunch." Lin Miaomiao wanted to tell him to go back to his dormitory at noon so that everyone wouldn't feel restrained. However, before she could finish her words, Yi Hongwen naturally interrupted, "I know, I will be back on time." Lin Miaomiao opened her mouth, but she didn't know how to tell him not to come over. His attitude was too natural, as if he really treated her dormitory as his own. After hanging up the video call, Lin Miaomiao sat on the bed for a while. It was still early and there was no training today, so she was not in a hurry. After being in a daze, she felt hungry and remembered the breakfast on the table. So she put on a fluffy long-sleeved robe, walked out barefoot on the cold floor, sat down at the table and started to eat breakfast. After she had something in her stomach, Lin Miaomiao opened the communicator and prepared to send a group text message to her friends to notify them to come over for lunch. Her fingertips accidentally touched Zhang Xingyin's number. She was stunned for a moment, and finally cancelled it. Some things can't be undone after they have happened. Shortly after the text message was sent, Feng Liqin and Zhu Chen replied to say they understood. However, Yu Zixin asked her why she had asked for leave again today, and Liu Kaoya directly sent a video message. Chapter 340, Changes in the Game. The ranking tournament is about to start, and you've fallen behind in training. Why are you taking the day off today? Liu Kaoya complained unhappily. Don't let me miss out on you, Lin Miaomiao said with a deadpan expression. No way. Even if you don't get a chance, I can't miss out either, Liu Kaoya pouted, but had no words to refute. The fleet is primarily composed of level 4 mecha operators. If there weren't a shortage of level 4 and above, there would be no way these level 3s would be able to get in. Thankfully, the ranking tournament is being held on Shaoyin Star, and for everyone's safety, it's being held on a virtual platform. Otherwise, they wouldn't even be qualified to compete. Virtual platform, Lin Miaomiao blinked. It didn't match what she'd heard. Isn't it a real-life competition? My uncle said there was an accident during the competition last year. During the team competition, due to the deliberate sabotage of safety measures, the distress signals sent by contestants in distress were blocked, resulting in 7 deaths and 10 serious injuries. The competition was suspended for several days. It was because of that accident that many soldiers' families jointly protested, so the competition was changed to virtual platform. Liu Kaoya thought it was a good idea. At least our lives are safe. Lin Miaomiao glanced at her. Kaoya, are you afraid of death? Don't forget that you are a soldier who has to go to the battlefield at any time. It is not okay to be afraid of death. Lin Miaomiao was very happy to have the opportunity to educate her little friend. She almost laughed with her hands on her hips. Young people are always taught a lesson, and this time she finally reversed the role. But her joy was premature, as Liu Kaoya wasn't buying it. Miaomiao, you idiot. Dying on the battlefield is glorious, but if you die in a competition, people will just say you're incompetent and your death wasted. Especially for level 3 mecha pilots like us. If something goes wrong, they'll just blame us for being incompetent and meddling. Lin Miaomiao felt enlightened by such talk. Before her time travel, even accidents during competitions weren't met with such harsh words. It seemed the interstellar age espoused a belief in the powerful, and that meant the powerful were truly powerful. Hearing you put it that way, I agree that competing on a virtual platform would be a good idea. Besides, it should shorten the competition time a lot, Lin Miaomiao speculated. After all, real-life competitions require time for everyone to repair their mechas, and individual matches are divided into time slots due to the limited number of arenas. None of this was a problem on a virtual platform. If the mech was damaged, restoring the data would fix it. It was quick and inexpensive, and the arena could be opened as many times as desired. Even a host wasn't needed, the platform automatically recorded the data from both sides. Maybe, Liu Kaoya said uncertainly. She wasn't a military leader, so how could she possibly guess their thoughts? Lin Miaomiao pouted. Since she couldn't get any more information, there was no point in wasting energy on the video call. She said coldly, Kaoya, it's already 7:55. I see you're still in the dorm. I'm going to be late, Liu Kaoya screamed, dashing for the door. Being late normally wasn't a big deal, but being late during these intense training sessions was practically suicidal. Miaomiao, I hate you. You're only reminding me now. With a click, the video call ended. Lin Miaomiao calmly continued to eat her breakfast. After all, she wasn't the one who was late. During lunch, everyone gathered around and brought up the subject again. This time, someone finally addressed her concerns. It's true that the time will be shortened, but only for the preliminary rounds. The semifinals will still be conducted in stages. After all, the competition isn't just about determining the strength of each fleet, it's also an opportunity for everyone to learn from each other, Yi Hongwen explained. Won't we be able to watch the videos? Zhu Chen asked in surprise. He remembered that while the competition wasn't public, some videos were still released to showcase the military's strength to the citizens of the Federation. Starting now, we can't record videos, Yi Hongwen replied. The last match went awry because the leaked videos attracted the attention of Imperial spies, who tried to sneak in and cause trouble. Therefore, this virtual platform competition will only be visible to those in person. Spectators won't be able to record videos. That's unavoidable. It seems this ranking tournament can only be shortened by a day or two at most, Lin Miaomiao muttered. The month-long ranking competition was a real test of patience. Even the most exciting competition made Lin Miaomiao feel like vomiting from watching the competition. But even a small thing is still meat, and she was happy to be able to shorten it by a day or two. Unfortunately, someone quickly poured cold water on her. The competition deadline remains the same, but because there's extra time, the military has decided to hold another cultural performance. All fleets can decide whether to participate. Each fleet can perform up to 5 programs, and only participating team members will be allowed to perform on stage. Then should we participate? Liu Kaoyer asked with shining eyes. Miaomiao can go up and sing Catching Loaches. Not many people have heard of that song. If people knew it was a popular song from thousands of years ago, they would probably be very interested. No, let's give this rare opportunity to you, Kaoyer. Lin Miaomiao shook her head and refused. Catching Loaches was just a nursery rhyme. How could it become a popular song? Kaoyer was really imagining it automatically. Liu Kaoyer pouted. She didn't have any talents to show off, so forget it. It's not mandatory to participate. I guess there won't be many programs, and they won't be very outstanding. After all, the competition is more important. Liu Kaoyer was disappointed. The fact that the performers had to be contestants was enough to put people off. Instead of rehearsing for the talent show, we might as well do more intensive training to achieve better results in the competition. Yi Hongwen hadn't finished speaking yet. If the performance wins a place, it will also add points to the team competition. Lin Miaomiao's eyes widened. So that was the key point. Just for the extra points, I'm afraid all the fleets would have submitted many programs. Boss, why didn't you announce such important news? Yu Zixin couldn't help it, and at the risk of being cold-pressed, he protested. If we can also come up with 1 or 2 good programs to add some points to the team competition, wouldn't it be easier to improve the ranking? So, are you preparing for a program? Yi Hongwen asked calmly. Yu Zixin was speechless. It was okay for him to get into a group fight, but it was impossible for him to perform a program. He had been a mischievous child since he was a child. He was impatient to go to school, let alone learn a talent. Seeing how pitiful he was, Lin Miaomiao kindly offered a helping hand. It doesn't have to be done individually. We could have a large chorus and sing songs with good meanings, like praising the Federation or wishing for a better tomorrow. That way, perhaps the judges would give extra points based on the song's meaning. That's a good idea. Feng Licken and the others nodded in agreement. Even Yi Hongwen had no objections. He said, I'll announce the news tomorrow. As long as it doesn't affect the competition, anyone who wants to perform can sign up. We'll then rehearse and send 5 to the military. Chapter 341 Strengthening Training. The day after returning, Lin Miaomiao joined the intensive training. To her surprise, the team leader wasn't Liu Yifei, but Wen Zixi, the weakest of the team leaders. Why Captain Wen? Lin Miaomiao asked Liu Kaoyer curiously. Shouldn't the strongest team be the one to be trained? Liu Kaoyer grimaced. Why the strongest? She felt Captain Wen was already strong enough. He could drive everyone crazy during daily training, so much so that after a day's training, they could fall asleep in bed. You'll know if he's strong once you try him, Feng Licken said, her face turning pale. These past few days had been incredibly intense and painful. Captain Bai was truly relentless. Yu Zixin and Zhu Chen didn't openly agree, but they nodded in agreement. So strong, Lin Miaomiao was astonished. Even Zhu Chen couldn't bear it. Just as she was about to inquire more about her friend's experiences from the past few days, when Zixi stood before her with a smile, silent, staring intently at her. Oh, Captain Wen, is there something wrong? Lin Miaomiao asked, her face dazed. When Zixi waved his hand. No, I'm just checking in. By the way, you want to know why I'm the one training? It's simple, I'm the weakest of the captains, and my mental strength is at a plateau right now. It's better for Luo Cheng and the others to focus on training. If she hadn't heard her friends, she might have believed them, Lin Miaomiao thought, and kept quiet. At 8 o'clock, the team members lined up in the open space. Unaware of the situation, Lin Miaomiao was a bit slow to react. After everyone else had formed up, she finally realized what was happening and took her place at the edge of the last row. "Cook, can't you find a seat in the front row?" When Zixi held his forehead. "Or do you just like having your short legs highlighted?" "Report." "I'm afraid I'll disrupt the formation," Lin Miaomiao replied through gritted teeth, mentally cursing Wen Zixi for his sharp tongue. Actually, Lin Miaomiao wasn't exactly short. She'd been growing taller recently, and her height was already approaching 1.7 meters. It was a pity that the last row was filled with 12 male team members, all of them over 1.8 meters tall with long legs, which instantly made her look like trash. "It's okay, it's your first day of intensive training, so it's only natural for you to cut in line," Wen Zixi said, glancing at Lin Miaomiao's height, then surveying the team and finding the best spot. "Right in the middle of the second row, hurry over." "Yes." Lin Miaomiao obediently followed the instructions and walked to the second row, but didn't rush into the line. Instead, she counted the heads seriously. 1, 2, 3, "What are you doing, little cook?" Wen Zixi couldn't help but frown. Was this a deliberate delay in retaliation for his earlier harsh words? Lin Miaomiao glanced at him sideways and answered confidently, "I'm counting. You said the middle position in the second row, so I have to find out where it is." Well, Wen Zixi was sure that she was deliberately looking for trouble, but he didn't dare to punish her. It was not because he was afraid of Yi Hongwen behind her, but because he was afraid that some petty armorer would stop repairing his mecha, or that the little cook would deliberately make delicious food for all the teammates in the fleet, but only leave him out. It's not that Wen Zixi is timid, but there is someone in the fleet who enjoys such treatment, that is Xing Runan, the boss's former admirer. Of course, he would not sympathize with such a low character. "Just stand to the right of Gu Xiaomeng," Wen Zixi simply pointed out the position. Lin Miaomiao looked at him regretfully, but still walked to the designated position obediently. The team was assembled. Wen Zixi stood at the front and said to the players, "It's a new day again. There are only 13 days left until the qualifying round. Everyone must work harder. Today's physical training is to run on the treadmill at the highest speed for 3 hours. You can't stop or slow down in the middle, otherwise everyone will have to add half an hour." Lin Miaomiao was dumbfounded. This training intensity was too much. Running for 3 hours without a break, and if one person failed to do it, the whole team would have to sit in overtime. This made her feel bad. "You know, the treadmills in the army are specially made, and the speed is 20% higher than the fastest treadmills in the past." No one objected to such a difficult level? Was everyone confident that they could stick with it, or was protesting futile? Thinking of Wen Zixi's sharp words just now, she decisively determined that protesting was futile. "Everyone," Wen Zixi's voice was calm, without a hint of force. It wasn't loud, yet it echoed throughout the trainer room. "Turn left." To the treadmill area, starting from the front row, everyone moved in order, quickly taking their positions beside a treadmill and cranking it up to maximum speed. Seeing everyone ready, Wen Zixi didn't waste any time. He glanced at the time on the communicator and called out, "It's 10 minutes past 8. Start." Everyone jumped onto the treadmills. Lin Miaomiao wasn't far behind this time, leaping onto the treadmill the instant she heard the command and breaking into a frantic run. There was no other way, the speed was at maximum. If she didn't run faster, she'd fall off. Huff, huff, Lin Miaomiao panted heavily. After only 2 hours or so, she felt the strain was starting to build, her chest pounding as if it were about to explode. He glanced at his teammates on both sides distractedly, and saw that their faces were also red as if they were about to explode, and their breathing was as loud as the sound of a bellows. If someone reached out and poked them lightly with a finger at this time, they would probably fall down. Logically speaking, long-distance running should be done slowly, but Wen Zixi did not play by the rules at all. He made them run at the highest speed for 3 hours, which was simply life-threatening. Lin Miaomiao wanted to stop and rest for a while, or lower the speed of the treadmill to catch her breath, but then she thought of the punishment Wen Zixi mentioned, and could only burst into tears in her heart. No wonder Caoyer's face turned pale when she heard her mention whether Captain Wen was a good instructor. She also remembered that Yi Hongwen had abused his power to ask for leave for her, saying that her physical condition would definitely not be able to withstand the intensive training. It was ridiculous that she thought he was exaggerating at that time. For the next few minutes, Lin Miaomiao felt every second was excruciating. To encourage herself, she kept repeating to herself, "Time's almost up, perseverance is victory," even as her tired legs continued to run mechanically. 3 short hours felt like a century to everyone else, so long and agonizing. Thankfully, no one wanted to be punished. So they gritted their teeth and persevered, not stopping midway or slowing down. Time's up. No stopping now. Shift to the slowest gear for a few minutes to relax. When Zixi finally spoke, his voice instantly became a heavenly sound, so beautiful to everyone who heard it, it almost brought tears to their eyes. Lin Miaomiao wanted to stop and sit on the ground to rest, but she knew that such intense exercise would cause severe damage to her thighs if she abruptly stopped. So, she followed Wenzixi's instructions, slowing down to the slowest gear and dragging her sore legs back to a slow walk. Chapter 342 Strengthening Training. Lunch was still at 11:30. Lin Miaomiao followed her friends to the cafeteria with her legs feeling like they were stepping on cotton, and she felt a little unsteady when she walked. No wonder you turn pale when you mention it. Training like this every day can't take it for your heart. Lin Miaomiao's rosy little mouth became dry, and her expressionless face turned pale and a little scary. Haha, Miaomiao, do you think today is a big battle? Liu Caoyer's face was full of "You are too naive, Caoyer, shut up, don't scare Miaomiao." Fang Licken forced a smile, and comforted a certain cook not very sincerely. "Miaomiao, don't be afraid, in fact, you just need to get used to it. The literary team arranges training according to our abilities." "That's right, Miaomiao, don't worry," Yu Zixin also warmly comforted. "Isn't it just that the intensity of training has been increased? No one will die. Look, we are still breathing after training for a few days." Wow. Even though Lin Miaomiao didn't know how to curse, she couldn't help but swear. Is this considered comfort? It's clearly only making her more worried, isn't it? Who knows if she'll be able to hold her breath after the intensive training. Lin Miaomiao drifted into the kitchen, already feeling a bit unsteady. Just as she was about to use her privilege to skip the line, her communicator chimed. It was Yi Hongwen, telling her to go straight to the second-floor dining room for dinner. After hanging up the video call, Lin Miaomiao said with a smug smile, "You guys should get in line. I'm going to eat first." Watching her retreating figure, Liu Caoyer and the others burst into tears. They'd agreed to be good friends, sharing the good and the bad, yet she wouldn't even cure them? She was flipping the table. By the time they'd lined up and gotten their food, Lin Miaomiao was already bloated and burping contentedly, leaning shamelessly on Yi Hongwen to rest. "Go back to your rooms, show off your affection, and stop bullying single people here," Fang Licken said sourly. The days of brutal training had robbed her of her usual composure, and she no longer feared the low pressure of the iceberg. After intense training, having a boyfriend prepare a meal for her and even a meat cushion to lean back on afterward was such a great treat, making everyone jealous. "Look at that guy's boyfriend, why don't you learn from him?" Yu Zixin gave his man a disdainful look, then ran to the next table with his plate. "I don't want to eat with you today," Zhu Chen complained. He had clearly been the one waiting in line, saying he couldn't bear to watch him wash the dishes. It was inhumane to have to do it after such grueling training. The fleet's cafeteria had a rule: helping others with food was allowed, but either you had to queue up multiple times for multiple people or take your own insulated lunchbox to go, to avoid unfairness for other team members. As for why taking food to go allowed multiple people to eat at once, it was because the lunchboxes couldn't be washed by the kitchen robots. Compared to waiting in line, washing dishes was more frustrating for everyone. The fleet's food was good, and the dishes were greasy after eating, making it a hassle to wash. It was easier to queue up and get your own food. Of course, as a privileged individual who didn't have to train with everyone else, Yi Hongwen didn't have to queue at all, and serving Lin Miaomiao lunch was a snap. "Zixin is so willful," Lin Miaomiao said, defending Zhu Chen. "Even if Hongwen doesn't prepare my food, I can go get it myself and not have to wait in line. Lolly will make it for me." Everyone was furious. How could they have forgotten that this person in front of them was also a privileged individual? They really wanted to punch that annoying face. After lunch, Lin Miaomiao thought she could go back to her room to rest, but her friends sneered and informed her that lunch break had flown by and training would resume at 12:30. "It's so cold, I might as well get some exercise instead of sleeping, so I don't get embarrassed when I go out, Wen Zixi said. So at 12:30, they entered the base's gravity training room. Of the credits they had swindled from He Xingming and Liu Wan, father and daughter, she had used the portion she had received to buy mechas and parts to donate to the fleet. The rest had been used to build the gravity room. Combined with the rewards from the previous major missions, Shen Yu's gravity chamber has now been expanded to 30x gravity area, barely enough for training for mecha pilots of level 4 and below. Of course, many of the team members, accustomed to running around, still enjoy going outside. Due to the different gravity tolerance levels, gravity training cannot be conducted together. Lin Miaomiao breathed a sigh of relief, thinking she could resume normal training in the afternoon. However, she soon realized she was naive. Separate training is indeed the same, but Wen Zixi seems to be forcing everyone to move to the next level of gravity chamber. For example, Lin Miaomiao could barely last 2 hours in the 24x gravity chamber, but now he's demanding a full 2 hours in the 26x gravity chamber. If we stay there for 2 hours, will we still be able to leave? Lin Miaomiao was skeptical. With her current gravity tolerance, spending 2 hours in 26x gravity would probably leave her lying on the ground. When Zixi smiled innocently, "Don't worry, little cook. If you can't get out, I'll help you out. Everyone else uses robots, I thank you so much. But I still don't need your help," Lin Miaomiao said grimly. Even if she couldn't get out, she'd rather let a robot carry her out. Despite her frustration, Lin Miaomiao dragged her sore legs into the 26x gravity chamber. As soon as she entered, she was crushed by the gravity. "Go inside, don't block the door," Bai Jin, who was on the same floor, reminded her. Also, Captain Wen said that even if we get crushed and can't stand up, we have to crawl to the center. If we can reach the other exit, we can end the training early. Lin Miaomiao stared at the exit several kilometers away, which was obviously close but difficult to reach. She bit her lip and decided to try to get there. Even a few minutes early would be helpful. So she began to crawl towards the exit, her comrades in front and behind her, sharing the same plight. Climb and climb, climb and climb. Lin Miaomiao knew it was impossible to complete these few thousand meters. After half a day, she had only managed to climb a few meters. Struggling forward, her teammates in front of her gradually retreated, and those behind her slowly passed her. Lin Miaomiao grew anxious and muttered to herself, "Why is everyone climbing faster than me?" A sullen teammate nearby replied glumly, "Because we've been training like this for days. We're much more accustomed to it than you." Lin Miaomiao's eyes widened. She had forgotten everyone had trained before her. So, there was no need to be discouraged. After all, she had plenty of people around her, climbing at a snail's pace. After 2 hours of crawling, Lin Miaomiao successfully reached the center of the gravity chamber. However, she couldn't get out, so she had to wait like everyone else for the robots to help them out. Meanwhile, when Zixi kindly approached her and asked if she needed help, but she ruthlessly refused. Lin Miaomiao thought proudly that she didn't want to be treated specially, and she didn't want to be hugged by any man other than Yi Hongwen and her relatives. Chapter 343 Strengthening Training. Aside from a few who stubbornly managed to climb out of the gravity chamber, everyone else, both new and veteran, was carried out. Having experienced this countless times before, everyone calmly waited in their place. Since there weren't many robots and they were moving people from the lower floors to the upper floors, it was normal for them to wait a while. But Lin Miaomiao still felt something was amiss. Why weren't the people being carried out placed in the open space outside, but instead were placed side by side on a strange cart? The cart was huge, able to fit about 10 people if squeezed together. Whenever it was full, a robot would push it away. "Are they taking them back to the dorms?" Lin Miaomiao asked curiously. The men's and women's dorms were separate, and the robots would just pick up whoever was closest, regardless of gender. If they were taking them back to the dorms, wouldn't they have to run to 2 different places? That was incredibly inefficient. "They're not taking them back to the dorms," the person next to her said weakly. "This afternoon's training hasn't even finished yet," Lin Miaomiao gaped. "No way, how could they train with everyone sprawled out on the floor?" Just as she was about to continue asking for an answer, Yi Hongwen walked over with leisurely steps, picked her up from the ground, and asked calmly, "Are you tired?" "Nonsense." Lin Miaomiao rolled her eyes at him, and consciously put her dirty hands around his neck, pouting. "They said there's still training." "Well, it's not over yet. Although your bodies are tired, your mental strength is still full. You can still go to the virtual platform to train mecha battles, Yi Hongwen replied calmly. I'll take you to the virtual landing room now. Lin Miaomiao was grief-stricken and indignant. Was this going to drain their mental strength? The people who were still waiting for the robot to rescue them, damn it. If these two want to leave, just leave quickly. Standing here being affectionate and torturing single people is fun. As if hearing the complaints of the singles, Yi Hongwen finally stepped out, still trying to comfort the person in his arms. I won't overdraw your mental power. When you have about 10% of your mental power left, the system will notify Zixi, and then you can log off. That's quite excessive, isn't it? Lin Miaomiao cried, tears failing her. If mental power usage exceeded 80%, she would experience dizziness, and if it exceeded 90%, she would be in imminent danger. Both the virtual platform and the Star Network use mental power to log in. If it was just browsing the Star Network, it was fine, but if it was used in mecha battles, the consumption was staggering. Normally, when they practiced on the virtual platform, they would play a few games and then rest, and would be logged off if their mental power exceeded 70%. But now, they had to go offline at nearly 90% depletion. How cruel. It's going to be very uncomfortable. Can't they just log off at 80%? Lin Miaomiao couldn't help but grumble. She had experienced mental power overdraft before, and she really didn't want to experience it again. No, Yi Hongwen refused without hesitation, then asked her, if you were in the middle of the match, or on the battlefield, and you were just one step away from defeating the opponent, but you felt dizzy and your mental energy depleted by over 80%, would you call a timeout? Of course not. Even if it means enduring the discomfort. You must eliminate them, Lin Miaomiao answered without hesitation. She understood. This kind of training was to help them get used to that situation, so as not to feel dizzy when they really encountered it, giving the opponent an opportunity to take advantage. Yi Hongwen nodded in appreciation and said, actually, it's not a big deal during the match, but when you face the enemy, no matter how uncomfortable you are, you have to adapt. You can't give up just because you feel uncomfortable, because you could very well lose your life. Therefore, the fleet was only using the competition as a pretext to teach them lessons. When they actually competed, they would actually ask them to prioritize safety. Shen Yu had been at the bottom of the table for decades, and they believed that the result of this ranking tournament could not be any worse than it was now. After sending Lin Miaomiao into the virtual login room, Yi Hongwen glanced around and saw that there was an empty bed next to Yu Zixin, so he put her on that bed and took out a small blanket of appropriate thickness from the space button to cover her. Although the virtual login room was air-conditioned, the temperature was still a little low, and everyone would habitually bring a small blanket to cover themselves when training. You train first, and if you don't have the energy to go back to the dormitory after logging off, send me a text message, Yi Hongwen instructed. Got it, go away. Lin Miaomiao was a little embarrassed and drove him away. Did she see that the teammates who hadn't logged in were watching? Yi Hongwen raised his eyebrows, and a cold air suddenly burst out of his body. He looked around with cold eyes. Everyone who was still watching the excitement instantly touched the login helmet on the bedside and put it on without hesitation. Oh, why is this landing device a bit sluggish? Is there a bad connection? Someone else pretended to check with the landing helmet, tapping it a few times before saying, let me try again and see if I can log in. Your HUD must be too big, and the landing device is broken, a teammate beside him complained seriously, and then he naturally picked up his landing helmet and put it on his head. I'll definitely get to the virtual platform before you. Yi Hongwen's mouth twitched. Why hadn't he realized there were so many funny people in the fleet before? Their storytelling skills were top-notch. He lowered his eyes to glance at his girlfriend who was also reaching for the landing helmet. Yi Hongwen suddenly reached out and grasped the dirty little hand, pulled out a piece of wet wipes, and carefully wiped her hand clean. Since everyone likes to watch, it's nice to torture these single people a little bit. After wiping Lin Miaomiao's hand clean, Yi Hongwen picked up the landing helmet from the bedside and gently put it on her. When the red indicator light on the helmet lit up, he slowly left. That afternoon's combat training was truly non-stop. After one match, the next immediately followed. The opponents kept changing, and the frequency of the substitutions made Lin Miaomiao feel very frustrated. The results of the battles were mixed, and there were many more experienced people in the fleet than she was. She still lost more than she won, and she was devastated. And every time she lost, the damned Captain Wen would taunt her. As both of us are 4th level mecha masters, your loss rate is too high, little cook. Could it be that you were slacking off during training before? This time, your opponent is your former classmate. It seems that he has been promoted to the 4th level mecha master not long before you. You actually lost so miserably. Tisk tisk, I can't bear to watch. Hey, little cook, how about I arrange a 3rd level mecha master as your opponent? If you keep losing like this, you will be hit so hard that you will lose your mind. What if the boss comes to settle the score with me? Lin Miaomiao, who is already dizzy and dazed due to excessive mental power consumption, finally got angry. Mosquito, can you shut up? Why didn't I see you complain when others lost? If you provoke me again, I will let number 3 make dinner for you alone tonight, when Zixi blurted out, but dinner is probably about to be cooked. It will be too late to tell him even after you log off, really? Thanks for the reminder, Lin Miaomiao said with a wooden face, then I'll let it cook for you one day tomorrow. If you continue to target me like this during training, I'll prepare 3 meals for you separately. When Zixi. Trouble comes from the mouth. Now he's really screwed. How could he get so carried away when he saw the little cook lose several games in a row? Chapter 344 Fully Automatic Walking Machine. After countless battles, Lin Miaomiao, still dazed, finally received a notification that her mental power had reached a critical threshold. When Zixi no longer assigned her opponents, urging her to log off and rest, Lin Miaomiao's headache raged, and she didn't feel like checking the remaining match rooms on the virtual platform. She simply logged off. Besides the headache, she felt a soreness all over her body, a discomfort so severe that she felt like crying. The delicate eldest daughter of the Lin family had never been so distressed. Even when her mental realm was severely damaged upon crossing over, she had never felt this miserable. After all, she had never experienced such rigorous training. Sitting up with difficulty, Lin Miaomiao glanced around and found that many of her teammates had already left. Yu Zixin, who was lying next to her, and Liu Gaoer, who was not far away, had not left, but they also lay on their beds with their heads in their hands, their virtual login devices thrown carelessly on the bedside. Miaomiao, you're down too, Liu Gaoer forced a smile. How do you feel? Do you have the urge to beat up Captain Wen? Of course, Lin Miaomiao nodded without thinking, but couldn't help gasping the next moment. The nodding action that was usually so easy was so difficult today. She felt dizzy when she moved her head slightly. She quickly held her head with her hands. This is too uncomfortable. Is it going to be like this every day from now on? If nothing unexpected happens, it should be like this. We have been living like this for several days, Yu Zixin said with a look of despair on his face. Lin Miaomiao's face darkened. Such days were really uncomfortable. She wanted to go on strike. What should she do? She felt sore and weak all over, and she couldn't help but lie back on the bed. By the way, should today's training end here? Lin Miaomiao suddenly thought of this important issue. It's over, Fang Licken said darkly. Everyone's in this state now. If it doesn't end, we'll all be dead. As for now, they were already in a state of near death. The thought of another 2 weeks of this going on made even a strong woman like Fang Licken feel the urge to escape. Not far away, someone got up and started moving out. They were also new members of the team this year, at the bottom of the Shenyu team. They must have logged off early and had recovered some strength before heading back to the dorms. Liu Gaoer had also noticed the movement over there and shouted indignantly, that Wen Zixi guy is so cruel. Everyone's so miserable, and he actually won't allow the robots to escort us back to the dorms. He insists we walk back, saying we can crawl if we can't walk. Climbing from the virtual landing room to the dorms across the lake would be humiliating. Liu Gaoer didn't think she was that thick-skinned, so she just rested here with her friends for a while, waiting to regain some strength before heading back. Yu Zixin wasn't just waiting to regain his strength, his beloved boyfriend was still struggling within the virtual platform, and he refused to leave. 10 minutes later, it was already 4:30, and more people were logging off. Zhu Chen also came down. Seeing that everyone was still there, he smiled gently. Are you all waiting for me? Yeah, it's hard for us to leave until you come down, Yu Zixin said, a sweet smile on his face, and asked Zhu Chen attentively, how are you feeling? Are you feeling uncomfortable? Not anymore, Zhu Chen replied with a faint smile. He was very adaptable. Aside from the first 2 days of discomfort, he hadn't felt any major issues since then. Then let's rest for a while and then go back, Yuzixin said happily. Lying down here wasn't very comfortable, so anyone who still had any strength struggled to get back to the dorms. Of course, they stopped by the cafeteria for dinner before heading back to avoid having to make another trip back home. Miaomiao, what's for dinner in the cafeteria? Liu Kaoyer asked, sprawled across her bed. If there's nothing good, I'll just go back to the dorm. I'm too lazy to bother. Waiting in line and then going upstairs to eat wasn't an easy task. If the dinner wasn't great, she'd rather go back and take her nutritional supplements, saving time to lounge in the massage chair. Spicy and sour shredded potatoes, stir-fried pork with green peppers, 3 yellow chicken with mushrooms, and kelp and pork rib soup, Lin Miaomiao answered without hesitation. Although her little girl decided what to eat each day, she still sent a message with a menu in the morning. Sounds good, Liu Kaoyer sighed. Then let's take some time to go to the cafeteria for dinner. She raised her hand and checked the time. It's already 5 o'clock, time to go. Upon hearing this, Yuzixin and the others all scrambled out of bed, but Lin Miaomiao was puzzled. Aren't we supposed to stop by the cafeteria for dinner? Do we have to go back to the dorm so early? How is that possible? Yuzixin rolled his eyes at her. Do you think you can still walk to the lake in 10 minutes like usual? Half an hour is about right. Hey, why are you still lying in bed? Everyone else had gotten out of bed and put on their shoes, but she was the only one still lying there. Miaomiao can't get up, Fang Licken hit the nail on the head. After their first day of such brutal and intensive training, they couldn't even get up for half a day. It took an hour of rest before they could finally get up and return to the dorm, missing dinner. Lin Miaomiao nodded awkwardly. She really couldn't get up now. She had been able to struggle to sit up when she just logged off, but after a while, she had no strength left. What should we do? Liu Kaoyer fretted. Walking back alone was already a stretch for them in their current state, and there was no way they could move anyone back. But they couldn't leave Miaomiao here alone. How about staying here with her and resting a little longer? Fang Licken suggested. The worst that could happen was that they'd miss dinner. Everyone agreed and sat back on their beds. Lin Miaomiao was touched, but she wasn't ready to accept the offer. Suddenly, she remembered what a certain iceberg had just said. She quickly reached out her limp paws and sent him a text message. Then she said to her friends, "You guys go ahead. I have a fully automatic mobility scooter and will be here to pick me up shortly." The friends were stunned. They had forgotten such a crucial matter and were so tragically convinced they were sacrificing their dinner. Zhu Chen was the first to recover, calmly saying, "In that case, let's go ahead." Lin Miaomiao agreed, watching them slowly make their way to the door. Before she even reached the door, she bumped into Yi Hongwen, who was walking with ease. "Boss," several people greeted him simultaneously. Yi Hongwen nodded and said steadily, "You've worked hard. Go back and have a good rest." With that, he passed by the others and headed straight for the stone-faced Lin Miaomiao, completely oblivious to the flirtatious expressions and winks behind them. Liu Kaoyer and the others thought, this is truly a case of one person's success bringing prosperity to everyone else. Before, Boss had always nodded in response to their greetings, but now he actually said such a heartwarming thing. Isn't it just because they are good friends with Miaomiao? If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 345 Revenge for My Wife. After packing dinner and returning, Lin Miaomiao finally regained some strength. She sat at the table to eat, but found that her hands were still shaking. She couldn't even hold a spoon, let alone the chopsticks. Yi Hongwen volunteered to feed her, but she rolled her eyes and ruthlessly refused. She wasn't really disabled, so why did she need to be fed? After filling her stomach with difficulty, Lin Miaomiao urged her boyfriend to go and accompany Wenzixi for training. "You promised to avenge me, you can't go back on your word." "Don't worry, my credit doesn't seem so bad," Yi Hongwen said speechlessly. Did he need to be so impatient to get rid of him? Yi Hongwen originally wanted to stay for a few more minutes to accompany his girlfriend and enhance their relationship, but under Lin Miaomiao's urging, he had to leave after finishing the meal. Feeling depressed before leaving, he hugged her for a lingering kiss, and then left the house with satisfaction. Wenzixi had no time to train during the day, so he would drag Liu Yifei and the others along to practice mecha combat at night. As a result, the captains could only train their physical fitness and load-bearing capacity during the day, and only practice mecha combat together at night. After leaving the dormitory, Yi Hongwen went straight to the virtual login room, where he found Wen Zixi and the others. Seeing that they had already logged into the virtual platform, he found the bed where his girlfriend had slept that afternoon and lay down on it. The beds here were all covered with back pads and sheets. The cleaning robot would only take the sheets away for cleaning at midnight every night. It wasn't time yet, so he thought Miaomiao's body odor would still be on them. If Lin Miaomiao were here, she would definitely think he was overthinking it. How could there be any body odor left after only a few hours of sleep? If there was any, it would only be the smell of sweat. After all, he had worked up a lot of sweat from running at full speed for 3 hours that morning. After downing the virtual login device and logging onto the virtual network, Yi Hongwen saw 14 leaders, divided into 2 groups, engaging in a mecha battle. Wen Zixi's opponent was Luo Cheng. He clicked on watch to watch the battle and saw that Wen Zixi was completely dominated, with no room for counterattack. The battle ended unsurprisingly in Luo Cheng's favor. After the battle room closed, the others emerged into the lobby. Wen Zixi clicked on the option to restore his mecha before smiling and calling out, "Boss, why are you here tonight?" Luo Cheng was also surprised. "Boss, aren't you always going to the Starnet to battle those masters? You're so excited to come here today." He also left unsaid that the boss had only recently gained access to the team and would have preferred to spend his evenings with a little cook. Why would he come to the virtual platform? As for how he knew this important news, Luo Cheng could only say that everyone in the fleet knew. The morning after Captain Yi returned from Alulan, he triumphantly walked into the logistics department and happily asked Wu Xin to grant him access to the little cook's dormitory. After receiving the news, the loudmouth Wu Xin had spread the news throughout Chenyu within a quarter of an hour, and gossip was flying everywhere. Perhaps only the little cook hadn't heard about it. "Come to see the results of your training," Yi Hongwen said in a dignified manner. Wen Zixi immediately became excited, abandoning the mecha he was restoring and scooting closer. "Boss, what do you think of the fight just now? Have I improved?" "Great, she's offering him a venomous tongue," Yi Hongwen thought to himself, and he criticized her mercilessly. "Zixi, have you been slacking off lately? Your fight just now was so chaotic and skillless. You could have dodged several times, but you were so slow to react that Ah Cheng hit you right in the face." Liu Yifei and Fan Lei, who had just finished fighting, were stunned. When did the taciturn boss become so sharp? Wen Zixi, who was being criticized for everything, was frustrated. How could his casual words have earned him a barrage of criticism from the boss? And the criticism sounded vaguely familiar. Before he could figure it out, Yi Hongwen had already stopped nitpicking and turned to Liu Yifei. "This time, you practice with him, okay?" Liu Yifei said without a word, dragging the still confused Wen Zixi into the battle room. Yi Hongwen watched them enter without rushing to watch the game. Instead, he said to Luo Cheng and Fan Lei, "Zixi has been a little slack in practice lately. You two can take turns practicing with him later to help him find his rhythm." With that, Yi Hongwen leisurely clicked into the battle room to continue watching. Luo Cheng and Fan Lei exchanged a look. Why did it feel like the boss wasn't here to check on their preparations, but to pick on someone? He actually asked them to fight in shifts. Could it be that someone had done something to piss the boss off? Regardless of whether the truth was what they had guessed, Luo Cheng now only wanted to say, "Great job, boss. I've been wanting to teach that cocky brat a lesson for a long time." So the poor Wen Zixi was caught up in a round-robin battle. Almost as soon as his mecha was successfully restored, his friends would immediately pull him into the battle room. What was even more depressing was that every time the boss would go in to watch the battle seriously, and after it was over, he would find a lot of faults. Then, when his mental strength was about to reach a dangerous critical point, he finally understood what all this was all about tonight, because Yi Hongwen said, as her level 5 mecha master, "Wen Zixi, your loss rate is too high. Could it be that you were slacking off during training before?" Wen Zixi's face was filled with tears. It seemed that this guy was here to avenge his wife. No wonder not only did he use a round-robin battle, but he also had to be criticized in various ways after each battle. It was really heartbreaking. After another battle, the system finally sounded a notification. "Your mental power has been depleted to 90%. Please log off and rest. As a level 4 mecha master, your loss ratio is quite high, little chef. Could it be that you've been slacking off during training?" "Boss, I've reached my breaking point. I can't fight anymore, when Zixi roared gleefully. I need to log off and rest. It could be said that he could finally log off and rest, finally get away from these beasts who were tormenting him. It was truly a cause for celebration. Oh, Yi Hongwen's reaction was calm. Just as he was about to happily log off, he suddenly said, "Your training intensity tonight was pretty good. Let's do the same for the next few days." Having said that, Yi Hongwen logged off without caring about the other party's reaction. He was in a hurry to get back to be with his girlfriend. When Zixi, stunned, logged off at the prompt of the system. Then, pale as a pale bead, he collapsed on his single bed, weeping bitterly. "Oh, heaven, please open your eyes and return the stern and impartial captain. Look at this current boss. To avenge his wife, he's so brazen as to make things difficult for his loyal subordinates. Tisk tisk, so it's because you offended our captain's wife? Mosquito, you're really brave," Liu Yifei praised with a sly smile. The intensive training these days had been tedious, and he was just looking for some fun, but who knew it would just happen, and it was connected to the usually cunning mosquito. He was so eager to make a big fuss about it. Luo Cheng shook his head sympathetically and walked out with a relaxed pace, muttering as he walked, "Let the storm come harder." Fan Lei hesitated for a moment, stepped forward and patted Wen Zixi on the shoulder to encourage him. "Come on, buddy. You will definitely be able to hold on. By the way, you have suffered so much today, it is all because the boss wants to avenge the little cook. Don't forget to pay him back tomorrow." "Go away," Wen Zixi said woodenly. "Don't try to instigate me to do anything stupid again." Fan Lei shrugged. "Okay, I'll leave first." The three little friends disappeared before his eyes, and when Zixi thought with a look of despair on his face, should he continue to take revenge tomorrow or go and ask for forgiveness? Chapter 346. The first level 5 mecha user. Day after day of intensive training passed by, and Lin Miaomiao had become accustomed to the daily, intense training, as well as the breaks after each session before slowly returning to normal. In the early days, when she couldn't walk anymore, she'd ask Yi Hongwen to help her carry the load, but she'd gotten used to it and stopped asking him to come. Especially after learning about the latest gossip circulating within the fleet, she felt even more embarrassed to display such affection in public. The intense training proved effective. Lin Miaomiao felt her combat experience had increased significantly, and her strength and load-bearing capacity were rapidly improving. It's worth noting that when Zixi's training regimen evolved daily. For example, on the first day, he'd sprint for 3 hours, on the second, he'd do 3,000 sit-ups, on the third, he'd hang from a climbing ladder and do 30 rounds of frog jumps around the lake. Later, during meals, the main topic of conversation was what the next day's training would be like. Just when Lin Miaomiao thought these peaceful and fulfilling days would last until the ranking tournament began, a shocking event occurred on the fleet. The 5 level 5 mechas donated by Lin Miaomiao to the fleet finally welcomed their first qualifier. With 3 days left before the ranking tournament, Lin Miaomiao and Liu Kaoyer walked into the physical training room and sensed something was amiss. In the past, only when Zixi had led the team in training, but today the captain, deputy captain, and several team leaders were all present. At first, Lin Miaomiao didn't think much of it, having heard Yi Hongwen mention that he was about to gather everyone for a test to see how much progress had been made. But after everyone lined up, Yi Hongwen pulled out a dark blue level 5 mecha. Everyone was familiar with it, having used it publicly before. With all that fanfare, had someone become a level 5 mecha master? "Everyone, I'm sure you all know that our fleet has 5 level 5 mechas," Yi Hongwen said, his voice carrying an unmistakable chill. "We agreed that whoever advances first among all level 4 mech operators will get to use that mech. And today, someone came to me with a level 5 mech operator's medal." Everyone was amazed. Someone had actually advanced to level 5. If it weren't for the captain's cold expression, someone would have jumped up to ask who had achieved such rapid success. Lin Miaomiao frowned. Having a level 5 mech operator in the fleet was a good thing, right? Why were the captain, deputy captain, and several team leaders so unhappy? Was there something wrong with the person who had been promoted? She didn't have to speculate, the answer came quickly. "Sheng Ruonan, step out. The use of this level 5 mech is temporarily yours," Yi Hongwen shouted coldly. It was her. Lin Miaomiao was stunned. She had never imagined that things would turn out this way. The first user of the level 5 mech she donated was actually her romantic rival. Lin Miaomiao wasn't the only one present, everyone was surprised by such a ridiculous situation. Especially the veterans, after years of working together, Sheng Ruinen's abilities were well known to them. She wasn't even on the list of players expected to receive a level 5 mech. But even if they found it hard to believe, Sheng Ruinen, standing proudly, reminded them that she, and only she, had received the first level 5 mech. It seems like no one wants to believe it. Sheng Ruinen said, her lips curled slightly, her face full of undisguised sarcasm. But the truth is the truth. I'm already a level 5 mech operator, and this brand new mech is mine. As she spoke, she pulled out a round badge with a simple mech design and 5 tiny stars in the center. This was the insignia of a level 5 mech operator. While seemingly insignificant, it had a very practical function, location tracking. Thinking of the 4-star badge on her own navigation button, Lin Miaomiao felt deeply frustrated. How could someone already be a level 5 mech operator? After Sheng Ruinen displayed her badge, she noticed many people's expressions had turned pale. Satisfied, she put it away and walked over to Yi Hongwen. She wasn't busy picking up her mecha, but chuckled, "Captain, you're in a bad mood. Are you regretting choosing Lin Miaomiao over me? You're not married yet, so you still have the right to regret it." Before the provoked party could even speak, Liu Yifei, Liu Gaier, and the others were already furious. Liu Yifei angrily said, "What's wrong with being a level 5 mecha master? I was already one." And Gu Qingheng, he successfully reached level 5 at the age of 25. If choosing a future partner is based on mecha master level, then wouldn't the boss choose him first? Liu Gaier rolled her eyes in disdain. Sheng Ruinen, don't you see how old you are? You're over 10 years older than Miaomiao, and you're a bit uglier than her. You even have wrinkles. She calls you auntie. Is it surprising that you're one level higher than her? You? Sheng Ruinen was so angry she was speechless. Gu Xiaomeng, standing next to Lin Miaomiao, poked her in the face and whispered, "Your best friend has spoken up. Why haven't you said a word?" "What are you talking about?" Lin Miaomiao said calmly. "It's not good to waste time on someone with less intelligence. The person is mine, and I don't care too much about jealous people." Gu Xiaomeng was startled. "Aren't you afraid she'll really snatch the boss away?" Lin Miaomiao curled her lips and said disdainfully, "Yi Hongwen isn't looking for a wife who can fight. You want to steal the meat from my mouth?" No way. These words were truly domineering, and Gu Xiaomeng, who had been jealous of her, was completely convinced. Only such a person could keep a man of the captain's quality. Yi Hongwen and the other man ignored her, and after being scolded by the others again, Sheng Ruinen put away the mecha with a gloomy face, but secretly vowed to herself that when she found the opportunity, she would definitely teach these people a lesson, and also that Lin Miaomiao who only played innocent and childish. With more missions in the future, she would always find a chance to eliminate her. Naturally, no one knew Sheng Ruinen's plan. Even if they did, Lin Miaomiao would only treat it as a joke. Even if she was a level 5 mecha master, so what? She wouldn't run away if she couldn't beat her. When Zixi had personally fought her many times in the past few days in order to get revenge, and her escape skill was now at the highest level. The mecha was sent out, but Yi Hongwen had something to say. "After the mecha is sent out this time, our conditions for obtaining the right to use the mecha need to be changed." What? Everyone was shocked, especially those who had the hope of advancing. "Why change it? Don't you want to give us ordinary team members?" "Be quiet," Yi Hongwen said in his voice as steady as ever. "The previous conditions remain unchanged. The changes are to protect everyone's interests." Everyone was appeased. As long as the previous conditions remained unchanged, it would be fine. So they continued to wait for the captain's next words. From today on, those who advance to level 5 mecha masters will still be able to obtain the right to use it, but they must advance normally. If they use banned drugs that forcibly increase their mental strength, they will be disqualified. Yi Hongwen's words sounded normal, but they were actually pointed out something. Those with quick brains figured it out instantly, and they all looked at Sheng Ruinen, whose face was already pale, with strange eyes. Chapter 347, Banned Drugs with Endless Consequences. Another new word. Lin Miaomiao muttered, but was too embarrassed to ask the person next to her what it meant. On the surface, she had to maintain her good, aloof, image and resolutely not act stupid and appear ignorant. Resisting her curiosity, she moved her claws away from the communicator. She decided to go back and look up more information, or simply ask Yi Hongwen directly what was going on. After Yi Hongwen finished speaking, without giving anyone a chance to digest it, He left with Gu Qingheng and the 3 team leaders, leaving only the devil coach Wen Zixi staring at everyone with a sly smile on his face. Unknowingly, the fox-like military advisor Shen Yu turned evil, and he was going further and further on the path of evil, with no sign of turning back. Why are you still standing here if you are not going back to the team? Wen Zixi looked impatiently at Sheng Ruinan, who was pale. Although Sheng Ruinan's face was frighteningly pale, he said unwilling to be outdone, Captain Wen, I am a level 5 mecha master, and no one here is qualified to be my opponent. Don't you think I should train with Captain Liu and the others? I don't think so, Wen Zixi said venomously. The foundation of your strength that has been forcibly improved is unstable. What qualifications do you have to train with them? Besides, although you are a level 5 mecha master, it is still unclear whether you can hold on. If you accidentally fall down again, I'm afraid you will have to hand over the mecha you just got. Although his words were harsh, they were also the truth. The reason these drugs were banned was because although they can forcibly improve mental strength, they can easily cause an unstable foundation. Almost 99% of people will be downgraded after being promoted. Ye Hongwen mentioned these things after the afternoon training. At that time, Lin Miaomiao had just finished enjoying the service of the massage chair and was nestling in the kitchen preparing to cook for herself. After hearing this, she asked curiously, does Sheng Ruinan's level 5 mecha master still count? Will she pay it back in the future? Ye Hongwen looked at her busy in the kitchen in a pink apron, and he felt a little excited. She could even cook. The current training would not be a burden to her. So could she do something else tonight? Someone didn't reply for a long time. Lin Miaomiao turned around in confusion and saw a pair of green eyes staring at her closely. Her little face couldn't help but blush, so she said angrily, what are you looking at? Keep your eyes straight and answer my question quickly. Why should you look at your wife so honestly? Ye Hongwen said in a stern face, if I can't have any bad thoughts when looking at you, then you should cry. Lin Miaomiao bit her lip, turned around and continued to wash, cut and cook dinner. She decided not to ask for the answer. She didn't want to be teased by someone. Ye Hongwen felt a little regretful. Why didn't he say anything? After thinking about it, he felt that it was still early and it would be better to let his wife fill her stomach first. He took over the previous topic and said, her application was submitted last night. I asked someone to check. She got the medicine from the Zhang family. The person who gave her the medicine is someone you know. Someone I know. Lin Miaomiao was a little confused. Who? Zhang Heibo from the Zhang family, Ye Hongwen answered. Lin Miaomiao was stunned. The name was unfamiliar and she had no impression of it at all. Are you mistaken? I don't know him, Ye Hongwen said with a smile. You don't know Zhang Heibo, but you should know Ji Ziyan. Hearing the name that she hadn't heard for a long time, Lin Miaomiao finally remembered who Zhang Heibo was. He is Marshal Jiang's youngest son, the one who allowed Ji Ziyan to return to school. It's him, Ye Hongwen nodded. Otherwise, with Sheng Ruinan's wealth and power, she would not be able to get this kind of banned drug. However, even if she got it, it would not pose any threat to you. As far as I know, her promotion this time has hidden consequences. If she gets demoted, wouldn't it be a waste to give her the mecha? Lin Miaomiao said indignantly. You shouldn't have agreed to give it to her. Ye Hongwen was helpless. He had already said it in advance. It was not something he could not give if he wanted to. If he really didn't give it, it would mean that they were not keeping their word, which would inevitably reduce their prestige. Whether Sheng Ruinan was demoted or not, however, had little impact on the fleet. If she's demoted, we can legitimately take that mech back. After all, she only has the right to use it. Only those who have made significant contributions to the fleet could request to take their assigned mechas with them upon departure. Otherwise, upon leaving the fleet or if the mech became unusable, they had to return it. Ye Hongwen knew how Sheng Ruinan became a level 5 mech pilot, but he still agreed to assign her the mech, perhaps because of this. I don't know what she's thinking. She's taking such a risk just to become a level 5 mech pilot, without even considering the consequences of failure, Lin Miaomiao muttered as she started cooking. They were dining for just the two of them tonight, so they only prepared 3 dishes, steamed egg with lotus root sauce, stir-fried pork with chili peppers, and pork intestines with pickled mustard greens. They didn't bother making soup, as the two of them couldn't eat much anyway. As a result, the two of them devoured all 3 dishes. Lin Miaomiao ate less, and most of it went to Ye Hongwen. After dinner, Ye Hongwen went into the bathroom to take a shower, while Lin Miaomiao cleaned the table, threw the dishes into the dishwasher, and then curled up on the sofa in the living room in a daze. Yi Hongwen came out of the shower and sat down next to her silently, holding her in his arms, and asked lazily, "What are you thinking about?" Lin Miaomiao hesitated for a moment and answered hesitantly, "Tell me, if I hope her level drops, will you think I'm too vicious?" "Oh, are you jealous that she easily reached level 5? Yi Hongwen joked. "What are you talking about?" Lin Miaomiao was so angry that she wanted to punch him with her fist. He even joked about such a thing. How could this person become so mean? Okay, it's my fault. I shouldn't have said that," Yi Hongwen apologized hastily. He didn't dare continue joking. What if he angered a beautiful woman and asked her to move back upstairs? "Believe me, that guy won't stay at the rank of level 5 mecha master for long. Go away." "Who knows if what you said is true?" Lin Miaomiao broke free from his embrace and ran away. "I'm going to take a shower and go to bed. No matter what, he's at level 5, so I have to work hard too." Yi Hongwen looked at his empty arms and sighed dejectedly. It seemed like his girlfriend didn't appreciate every joke he made. Turning to look at the tightly closed bathroom door, he couldn't help but feel excited again. It didn't matter if she didn't appreciate the joke, what mattered was that he was still in the room and hadn't been kicked out. For the next moment, the big bad wolf stared intently at the bathroom door. When it opened, he quickly rushed over, grabbed the steaming little lamb, and rushed into the bedroom, where he began to eat it. "I have training tomorrow," the lamb struggled, trying to fight off the bad guy. "It's okay, I will be more restrained," the big bad wolf drooled as he pressed the little lamb firmly under him, and deftly unbuttoned her pajamas with his hands. Chapter 348, Rehearsal. The day before the ranking tournament, Shen Yu had a day off. The competition was the next day, and no amount of training the previous day would improve their strength much, but would only make the competitors tired. Despite being on holiday, no one went out, but stayed in the fleet to have fun and relax. That evening, Yi Hongwen summoned everyone to the conference room. The reason was that Shen Yu's 200 competitors had submitted nearly 40 programs, but the military could only accept 5. Lin Miaomiao sat in the front row of the large conference room, watching the male team members busily moving the tables and chairs from the podium and shoving their laptop speakers to the sides. Bored, she sighed, "There are almost 40 programs. Our fleet members are truly multi-talented." "What do you mean by multi-talented?" Liu Kaoyu curled her lips. "Some of them are just joining in the fun, filling in the numbers." One day, passing by the men's dormitory, she overheard someone howling from the balcony. It sounded creepy, so she told them to shut up. But the person said, "No, I need to practice more, or my program won't happen." Upon closer inspection, she discovered that the person, seeing everyone else eager to sign up for a performance, had, at the instigation of a friend, signed up for a solo performance of a song called Country Bumpkin's Interstellar Journey. So that wolf howl is the Country Bumpkin's exclamation of excitement at seeing something new. Lin Miaomiao felt her perspective had been redefined. A song like this was worthy of being called a divine song. Liu Kaoyu nodded gravely. She even tried to persuade the man to stay off the stage, lest he embarrass himself. But he didn't appreciate her kindness, thinking she was jealous of his talent. He simply snorted and closed the window. "You're just making fun of me. I'm lucky I didn't beat you up," Fang Licken said coldly. Lin Miaomiao looked up at the podium while gossiping. What had happened? It had only been a short time, and the podium had transformed. It was covered in a bright red carpet, draped with ornate curtains, and adorned with colorful neon lights. A giant screen on the wall displayed several scantily clad, posing beauties. Whose idea was this? Lin Miaomiao's tone changed. They thought there were no women in the fleet, yet they were so brazen. Decorating the podium definitely required the approval of a superior. Otherwise, no one would dare to act rashly. If Yi Hongwen also approved of the alluring beauties on the screen, she should consider locking him out for the night. Perhaps it was a telepathic connection, but Yi Hongwen, having just stepped into the conference room, felt a chill run down his spine at the sight of the screen. Who approved them to use that background image? Miaomiao saw it and immediately assumed it was his approval. He absolutely refused to take the blame. Haha, that's quite amusing, Gu Qinghang chuckled. He'd just rushed back from the hospital today, only able to come back after Xiaoran's condition stabilized and her emotions were under control. After all, he was the deputy captain of the Shen Yu ship, and it was impossible for him to ignore the ranking tournament. I know who it was, Luo Cheng raised his hand, eager to betray his brother. Yifei chose the background video. He said these women look quite sexy. Yi Hongwen's face darkened. Have someone change it. Put Jin Yu Yin's video. I remember she sang tonight the moon is full, and so are we okay. Luo Cheng sprinted towards the stage. He was excited, wondering what Liu Yifei's expression would be when he saw the background screen. At 7:30, rehearsals officially began. Yi Hongwen had already taken his seat next to Lin Miaomiao, his seat having been vacated by Liu Kai'er. Did you have enough to eat tonight? Yi Hongwen asked softly. HMPH, Lin Miaomiao turned away. Don't think she wouldn't be angry just because the background image changed. Yi Hongwen chuckled softly. Why, are you jealous of the background image just now? That was Yifei's doing. The upright captain didn't give his capable subordinate any face and quickly identified the culprit. Really? Lin Miaomiao glanced at him suspiciously, but seeing his determined expression, she believed him. I told you that Yifei is unreliable. With so many women in the fleet, he actually used a video like that as his background image. He's simply trying to stop trying to make ends meet. Well, after the ranking matches, I'll beat him up for you, Yi Hongwen said. Not far away, Liu Yifei burst into tears. After one Zixi, he was the unlucky one now. The captain's wife was truly a difficult person to please. Although it was just a rehearsal, logistics director Wu Xin treated it like Shen Yu's year-end gala. The impromptu podium setup was simply because the fleet lacked a dedicated stage, and the large conference room could be used at any time, so the venue couldn't be arranged haphazardly. At this moment, Wu Xin, wireless microphone in hand, excitedly stepped onto the makeshift stage. In his excitement, he nearly tripped while climbing the stairs. Fortunately, his partner offered a hand, otherwise he would have made a fool of himself. Blushing, Wu Xin followed his partner to the center of the stage and began to announce, Dear leaders, ladies and gentlemen, the winter sun is warm today, the sun has set, Lin Miaomiao said, feeling the line was out of place. It should be said that the moonlight is beautiful. I didn't see the moon tonight, Yi Hongwen gently corrected. Lin Miaomiao, if you can't see it, can't you just pretend it is? As a boyfriend, you can't even make a girl happy. Bad review? The first rehearsal was a solo performance by Zhang Keek, an acquaintance of Lin Miaomiao's and her biggest fan. She sang the incredibly sweet love song, Let's Walk Together for a Lifetime. Zhang Keek's lovely appearance and sweet voice were so captivating that the single men in the fleet couldn't help but howl, shouting, Keek, another one. Zhang Keek, of course, stopped dominating the stage. Instead, blushing, she said, This song is for my goddess. I wish her and her boyfriend a lifelong and sweet happiness. Lin Miaomiao instinctively glanced at Yi Hongwen beside her, meeting a smiling gaze. She shyly lowered her head, though secretly, she was incredibly pleased with Zhang Keek's blessing. It had to be said that Shen Yu's group was incredibly talented. Most of the performances were fantastic, with a wide variety of content, including singing, dancing, skits, and crosstalk. Lin Miaomiao was mesmerized. After the 10th program was announced, Lin Miaomiao was excited because she had just heard the title of the song from Liu Kai'er, Country Bumpkin's Interstellar Journey, by the brother who howled in the dormitory corridor. Lin Miaomiao didn't remember the howling brother's name, but she did know him. He had a rough and cheerful personality and a loud voice, so he was called Big Loudspeaker. After hearing the announcement, Big Loudspeaker didn't even bother to climb the stairs. His face was flushed, and he jumped onto the stage. In a few steps, he rushed to the center, snatched the small microphone from Wu Xin's hand, and professionally checked the sound. Hello? Hello. Chapter 349, Rehearsal. Hey, Dalaba tried a few times, clapping his hands a few times to make sure everything was alright, then said to Wu Xin, who was standing there cluelessly, Why haven't you left yet? The audience erupted in laughter, followed by a frenzied cheer. Keep going, Dalaba. We're rooting for you, Minister Wu. Get down here now. Don't interrupt Dalaba's impressive performance. We're already waiting impatiently. Wu Xin wiped the sweat from his forehead, swallowed the urge to scold the idiot, and left the stage unhappily. These people were so disrespectful. After all, he was the host. A co-host, whose chance to announce the show had been snatched away several times in a row, smirked. See, going on stage doesn't necessarily mean you'll be seen, it could mean you'll be disliked. After the host left the stage, the loudspeaker started to perform. Of course, He had to introduce himself before the performance, so he took the microphone and said seriously, "Hello everyone, I am Da Loudspeaker. Oh, sorry to correct me, I am Wang Shuang, you can call me your majesty. It is said that people like me could unify the world in ancient times." Wang Shuang's self-introduction seemed to be endless. The audience couldn't stand it anymore and threw snacks such as peanuts and melon seeds at the stage. "Stop talking nonsense." Lin Miaomiao thought about it and threw 2 chicken feet bones on it. "Hurry up and perform, otherwise you will get a bump on the head." However, it was of no use. The attack power of those little things was too subtle and was almost ignored by Wang Shuang. "Actually, I have better things to throw here." Yi Hongwen silently took out 2 hard steamed buns bigger than his fist. "I put them in the space button 2 days ago and forgot to put them in the refrigerator." "Good stuff." Lin Miaomiao's eyes lit up. She grabbed one and threw it at the stage, but accidentally threw it off, so she said in annoyance, "You come, I can't hit it." Yi Hongwen raised his eyebrows and casually threw the remaining steamed bun in his hand onto the stage. The steamed bun hit directly into the mouth of Wang Shuang, who was dancing and bragging with his mouth wide open, making him speechless. The conference room was instantly quiet. "My wife thinks you're too long-winded," Yi Hongwen said coldly. "You have 2 choices, one is to quickly perform your show, and the other is to shut up and leave the stage." "I just wanted to introduce myself first," Wang Shuang said aggrievedly, but after receiving an intensified cold attack, he changed his tone. "I've introduced myself, now let's start the show." Lin Miaomiao breathed a sigh of relief. The performance finally began. She was most impatient to hear people brag. The next moment, she realized that she had relaxed too early. What Liu Kaoyer said was absolutely right, this person was good at howling. "Ah wow. Ha ha ha." Wang Shuang started with a series of screams, and then broke into a loud song. "My interstellar travel has begun. I can also boast about crossing the stars. Oh my god, the battleship I'm on today is really huge. Wow, so huge. What the hell is this?" Lin Miaomiao cried, her ears hurting so much that she quickly covered them with both hands. Yi Hongwen's expression cracked. He reached out to shield her ears again, his own brow furrowed as he glared at the stage. While he'd encouraged his teammates to perform, such earth-shattering talent was best hidden. By the end of the song, many in the audience were already slumped back in their chairs, nearly dead. Those who still had some energy, noticing Wang Shuang's intentions to offer a closing speech, shouted, "Get off the stage, megaphone. Someone's going to die." Wu Zin's co-host leaped onto the stage in a few steps, snatched the microphone back, and, with a forced smile, pushed him off stage. "Thank you, Wang Shuang, for your wonderful performance. Due to time constraints, we'll have to ask you to leave. Next up, let's welcome the solo flying." Because the stage was cluttered with debris, the host called for robots to clean it up before the performers took the stage. The performer of Flying Apsaras was Ren Jiaojio, but she was clearly frightened too. She walked onto the stage with a slow, unsteady pace. As the music started, she instinctively raised her hands to cover her ears, but halfway through, she realized something was wrong and forced a movement into a slightly stiff transition. Flying Apsaras is a classical dance, so Ren Jiaojia wore a long, flowing, moon-white traditional costume. Her hair was tied in a beautiful bun, accessorized with step shakes and jade hairpins, and a stunning peony ornament adorned her forehead. Lin Miaomiao didn't know what era the costume came from, but that didn't stop her from admiring it and exclaiming, "My sister-in-law is wearing a really beautiful dress, like it." Yi Hongwen examined it briefly but didn't find anything special. In his opinion, it wasn't as attractive as the suspender nightgown Lin Miaomiao wore that night. However, she only wore it for him, and the dress was quite covering, so it seemed quite good. "It's so beautiful, of course I like it," Lin Miaomiao answered without hesitation. "After rehearsal, ask Ren Jiaojia where she bought it, and I'll buy you one too," Yi Hongwen decided. Lin Miaomiao didn't refuse. Nowadays, people dress in unique ways, so even if something like this stood out, it wouldn't matter. As long as they acted naturally, no one would mind. The graceful dance moves and the beautiful music were a feast for the eyes and a relief for the ears. Everyone's frown softened, and the conference room returned to a lively and cheerful atmosphere. The rest of the rehearsal didn't involve Wang Shuang's shrieking. At most, he was tone-deaf, singing off-key, and sometimes dancing that couldn't keep up with the beat, swaying back and forth. However, since it wasn't a big deal, everyone appreciated it respectfully, and without complaint. Only Wang Shang complained. His performance wasn't great, yet he still received applause, while he was kicked off the stage. The discrimination was too obvious. How could they still enjoy training together? 2 hours later, the rehearsal finally came to a close. The final performance was a chorus, initiated by Liu Kai'er. Almost all the contestants without a program joined in, with the exception of Sheng Ruinan and the recently unsociable Zhang Zhengayan. The chorus song was the popular song Tomorrow Will Be Better, a song from thousands of years ago. At the beginning of practice, Lin Miaomiao noticed that the lyrics and melody had been significantly altered, making it a bit awkward to sing. Not wanting to draw attention, she planned to relearn it. However, before one practice session, she habitually hummed a few lines and accidentally sang the correct version. The sharp-eared Liu Kai'er overheard her and forced her to sing it all over again. So, this time, they sang not the familiar Xingji version, but a more fluid and elegant version from the past. Although the intensity of the training was somewhat overwhelming, everyone still found time to practice several times, and their coordination was flawless. The chorus was completed smoothly, bringing the day's rehearsal to a perfect conclusion. Chapter 350 Ranking Tournament Opening Ceremony. Every year, there's a month when the military is completely bored, leading to a month-long fleet ranking tournament, which runs from February 1st to March 1st. Because of this tournament, few soldiers return home for Spring Festival. Everyone is so busy, some competing, others staying behind to prevent unscrupulous individuals from taking advantage of the tournament. Living on Shaoyin Star is undoubtedly an advantage. Fleets from other star regions have to rush to Shaoyin Star several days in advance, missing out on training opportunities. The Chenyu team only gets 1 day's rest before the tournament. The Federation has over 100 regular fleets, divided among the 5 major fleets: Azure Dragon, White Tiger, Vermilion Bird, Black Tortoise, and Central Fleets. Each fleet has a varying number of members, from large fleets like Jinghong, boasting thousands or even tens of thousands, to smaller fleets like Chenyu, with only a few hundred. While each fleet is limited to 200 members participating in the competition, when you add in the captains, accompanying pilots, manicurists, card makers, and support staff like doctors, the total number exceeds 20,000, making food and lodging a real challenge. After a discussion, the military decided that during the ranking tournament, they would only provide the venue, equipment, referees, and judges, leaving each fleet to provide its own food and lodging. The Central Core fleet was relatively easy, as it was stationed on Shaoyin Star or a nearby planet. However, the fleets of the other corps were in a tough spot. A month of hotel accommodation for over 200 people would be quite expensive, so they had no choice but to stay aboard warships, despite their inconveniences. At 7:30 a.m. on February 1st, the 200 participating teams gathered in the waiting area. Since they weren't on a long mission, and the format had been changed to virtual competition, they didn't bring along their crew of armorers or other support personnel. At 7:40 a.m., the Shenyu docked at the military headquarters landing platform. Upon disembarking, they found the area surrounded by warships. Many fleet members lined up in one direction, with a large sign pointing to the arena. Lin Miaomiao didn't understand why the virtual competition required a venue, but she quickly formed a line with everyone else and, led by Yi Hongwen, headed towards the arena. Arriving at the competition arena and seeing the large red billboard on the main stage, Lin Miaomiao finally understood why she had come. It posted the words "Opening Ceremony of the 5555 Annual Fleet Ranking Tournament." After finding the name of the Shenyu fleet in a nearby seating area, everyone began to take their seats in an orderly manner. Yi Hongwen naturally sat next to Lin Miaomiao. "Isn't that a little inappropriate?" Lin Miaomiao blushed. The captains of the other fleets sat alone in the front row with their team members, but he insisted on squeezing in the middle. Yi Hongwen said nonchalantly, "It's nothing bad. It's just a seat. If it weren't for his girlfriend, he wouldn't have led the ranking tournament at all. Wouldn't it have been easier to let the deputy captain take charge?" Lin Miaomiao felt a little frustrated, but she couldn't say anything more. They were already seated, and changing seats would only attract more attention. After the fleets entered and took their seats, it was exactly 8 o'clock. Several military green stretch cars drove up to the podium, and the judges and referees immediately greeted them. Members of each fleet, all stand up, the host of the opening ceremony shouted with a microphone. The people in the rest area stood up in unison upon hearing the command, staring at the flying cars seriously. The doors of the flying cars opened, and first a few attendants in blue military uniforms got out, followed by 5 old men in black military uniforms with military medals hanging on their chests. One of them was Ren Jiaojiao's father, Ren Yaohu. Could it be that the 5 marshals were dispatched at the same time? Lin Miaomiao wondered to herself, and then she heard the host shout again, "Salute! We pay our most sincere respects to the 5 marshals." There was another unison salute. Lin Miaomiao was distracted and was a little slow, but fortunately, there were so many people that no one noticed except Yi Hongwen, who was paying attention to her. After sitting down, Yi Hongwen quipped softly, "You weren't paying attention when you saluted. Were you thinking about me?" "Thinking about you?" Lin Miaomiao rolled her eyes at him, her face filled with disdain. "When did you become so narcissistic?" After her disdain, Lin Miaomiao stopped paying attention to the narcissistic individual and focused on watching the opening ceremony. She then realized that no matter what time or event the opening ceremony was, the steps were the same. First, the host explained the significance and role of the qualifying competitions, then reviewed the grandeur and glory of previous qualifying competitions. He then named several promising fleets, recounting their fierce battles in previous competitions. Then, the commanders were invited to speak. Most of them encouraged the fleets to move forward and expressed their anticipation for a thrilling competition. Of the 5 marshals who spoke first, 4 kept their speeches brief and well chosen, staying under 5 minutes. Only Marshal Jiang Zhiguo spoke with such gusto that he spoke for over half an hour without a script. Lin Miaomiao dozed off, never interested in such occasions, especially when faced with eager-to-speak leaders. It was a testament to her fortitude not to fall asleep. After the 5 marshals, there were still many more leaders who needed to give speeches, so the first morning passed in a rush. During lunch, Lin Miaomiao asked about the afternoon schedule, but it was still just the leaders' speeches and the host's commentary on the competition process. She immediately lost interest and asked, "Can I not go?" "Of course not. If you don't go, the formation will be missing a corner, and that will stand out too much," Yu Zixin mocked her. "You look like a little cabbage that's been sitting there for a few days. It's just sitting and listening to people talk. You can bear it, but I'm so sleepy, I don't want to go," Lin Miaomiao said, her face darkening. "Zixin, why are you so annoying?" Yu Zixin was dazed to be disdained for just one disagreement, but with a protective Yi Debingchen around, he didn't dare to act rashly and could only keep his mouth shut. Seeing his girlfriend's listless expression, Yi Hongwen felt a pang of distress. After a moment's thought, he said, "There's actually a solution. We can just find someone to fill the gap. At the opening ceremony, everyone could only see the formations, and no one would be called out by name. Changing someone wouldn't make much of a difference, as long as the players stayed the same for tomorrow's competition." Lin Miaomiao's eyes lit up. This seemed like a good idea, but then she thought again, feeling depressed. Who would take my place at such a boring opening ceremony? She hadn't forgotten that, besides the 200 competitors and Yi Hongwen, there were only a few warship pilots on board, none of whom she knew well. Yi Hongwen's lips curled slightly as he leaned close to her ear and whispered, "It wouldn't be hard to find someone to fill your position, but I don't want to work for nothing. You should spend the afternoon on board thinking about how to reward me, okay?" Lin Miaomiao, she had a sinister premonition. Was it too late to regret it now? End of this chapter. Thank you so much for reading until the end. Don't forget to give it a like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription or donation encourages us to continue. Thank you all. See you in the next video.